Good morning. Welcome to Banter with RichiebB Live.
Near these huts.
Yep.
There's something going on here.
Behind us after. The trees were fucking moving everywhere. Yeah, bro. Goosebumps.
Maddox, you were with me. We looked this way. It was not like this.
Welcome to Banter with RichiebB. Yo, what's up, everybody? Oh, yeah, that's right. He's back. Yeah, we've seen it for a while. Oh, I'm live. Look at that. Say hi, Wojo.
Hi, Wojo.
Good morning. Welcome to Banter with RichiebB Live.
Somewhere beyond the beaten path, beyond the whispers in the woods and the stories around the fire, lurks one of the greatest mysteries of our time, Bigfoot. For decades, legends have echoed through the forests, footprints left behind, sightings that defy logic, and questions that demand answers. But this isn't just folklore. This is a call to investigate, to explore, and to uncover the truth. Banter with RichiebB isn't just another show. It's a community, a movement, a hub for genuine research, real conversations, and boots-on-the-ground discovery. Every episode dives deep into evidence, expert interviews, field investigations, and the drive to seek what others say is impossible. If you believe in asking questions, if you're ready to get your boots dirty, and if you think the unknown deserves more than just a passing glance, then follow Banter with RichiebB. Stay informed, stay sharp, and maybe, just maybe, be the one who finds the truth hiding in the trees.
I love you, baby Jack. I want you guys to keep climbing. I love you, Mama. Wojo's gonna get us out of here because that's what he does.
That's right. Nice meeting you all. Thank you for being on air. And yes, we are home of the phone. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, baby. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Banter with RichiebB, the podcast. That's right, Jim. I got to tell you, that last part is a commercial that we made, Sam made from Sam's Pretty Paranormal. She's an amazing talent, and we are very blessed to have her. I want you all to get over to Sam's Pretty Paranormal and like and subscribe. And also keep your eye on her because she's starting a digital creators company, and she's going to do all kinds of amazing things. And we're very, very blessed to have her. Thank you so much, Sam, for your hard work. We appreciate you. Let's see. So right now, we are live all over the world, as you know, on Dark Realm TV, on every Roku television and every Amazon Fire Stick, worldwide, baby. Also, let's see. We are going to be talking about a couple of things that before our guests come out that I want to go over briefly with you guys. And I believe we have a birthday girl in the crowd as well that I might be wishing a happy birthday to. Imagine that. So let's bring in our co-host, the Wojo, and see. Let's see what he's. Wojo, what are you wearing? Anything good? I thought you had a Batman shirt on. Never mind. What's up?
What's up, everybody? And hello and welcome, because we are home of the boom. How are we all doing? Yes, we do have a birthday girl in here.
We do. And I'm going to say hi to everybody. And once we say hi to everybody, we're going to wish her a happy birthday.
Yeah.
All right. And then we're going to go over a couple of quick, brief things. And then we have two very special guests that I've been kind of following secretly, creepily in the background. They don't know it. I've been staring at them. Just kind of watch them from afar. But no, you tend to watch people that research and kind of see how they research, right? And look at the things that they see and try to see, gauge where they're at in a sense. And, Chette Nichols and I have spoken many times through Messenger over various subjects and different ideas and, even some personal stuff here or there. And great dude, man. I really appreciate his friendship and I like the way he researches. And he has a partner that they go out together with and they research together all the time, James Amaron. And he seems pretty well versed in wildlife. And I think that's kind of an important attribute to have when you're out in wildlife, looking for Bigfoot. Right. So it definitely helps. Trust me. So before we bring them in though, we're going to go over a couple of things. All right. Let's say hi to everybody real quick. I don't know why I have my microphone way over here where I'm leaning. I've always wanted to say it like that. Is Ron? No, Ron's not the first. Sparky is the first. Sparky, thank you so much for all your work you've been doing for us, by the way. He's been an audio monster for us. So Ghost Girl said, be part of the BanterWithRichieB family. Don't be an ass squatch. Sparky got his own little commercials he writes. It's funny. Limited cussing or adult jokes are okay. We have fun, but remember, we do have ladies in here. Huh? You see this? This is what he's been writing. Also, anything rude directed at a person in chat or the team will not be tolerated. Goodbye. Yeah, we're a friendly environment. We're goofy. I swear a lot. Sometimes I get a little vulgar here and there. It's not for kids. It's well announced that it's not for kids. But, we don't direct anything mean towards anybody. That's for kindergarten. Ron is here. He says hello. Very politely, I might add. He's not an ass squatch. Our friend Mary is here. Just saying. Shh. Michelle Wilfong is in the house. Let's see. Sam, of course, we mentioned Sam. Elder, hello, Elder. Tansi. Joe Dryden. Hello, Joe. How are you, sir? Thank you, and welcome to Banter with RichiebB. It's nice to see you.
Great to see you, Joe.
It's very nice to see you, Joe.
Where you from, Joe?
It's awfully quiet out here tonight. It must be vacation time. D-Hoot. Yeah, where's Joe from? It's probably here. Forest Friend. Hey, Forest Friend. I know you. Forest Friend. I've seen Forest Friend on, I think it's on my TikTok, right? TikTok? Or maybe it is YouTube. Maybe it's YouTube. I can't keep up with all that stuff. So anyways, I want to go over a couple things. We had a team meeting last night. We are going to be doing some things coming up to help our research further. We're monetized across the board on social media. I haven't really taken advantage of that. It's not something that I planned on ever being, but it's here, and the research could use some funding. So I will be monetizing a lot of stuff. From the TikTok shop to Facebook stars to even Instagram is going to let guys, and of course YouTube, right? So you will be seeing some things coming up, different types of ways of donating, different types of ways of helping the research. So watch for that. So we're going to be to local companies, friends of mine that are in the business. We're going to be offering to make commercials for them, running them so many times per month, and they will pay a monthly fee for that commercial and for advertising and mentioning on on Banter with RichiebB. You got to remember, Banter with RichiebB, like I said, goes all over the world. Dark Realm TV is where what? God, he's fucking slow. Where fucking Fear lives, Wojo. Thanks. And then Dark Realm TV, and then everything's uploaded to Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, Apple. It's everywhere all the time. You can always see us. Plus, we go live on YouTube. That's where the real views have been coming in. 13,000, 10,000, 8,000 views constantly while we're out in the woods. We have a very big audience. a lot of followers in that sense. And so we are going to be reaching out for that. So when you see that, if you can't help or donate, then please share. That's all I ask. Just because the research is getting really, really in depth. There's a lot of appearances coming up that we got to make as far as like going places and doing different research or whatever the case might be, other podcasts, gas, equipment, things like that. So we will be reaching out and perhaps, something that I'm not quite used to doing, but that's the way it is. That's, paying for the internet so I can be on here and sharing our evidence with you guys. So a lot of that stuff is going to be coming down the pike. So keep an eye out for that and do what you can. Greatly appreciated. And we'll update you further with that. So you'll see tickers across the bottom and things like that. So all that good stuff. Right, Wojo?
Yeah. Cover a lot of the peanut butter, the zingers.
Yeah, that's right. That gets expensive, huh?
Everything adds up, guys. And know what, though? It's for good research.
Yes, and as always, buy the merch. Well, Bobby Lee is... What's this? Sorry, guys. I saw Richie on video, and then I took a nap.
By the way, I was forced to change my shirt because some donkey in the background had to wear the same shirt as me.
Yeah, let's bring it up. No, you had the same shirt as him. It depends on who got dressed first. What time did you put your shirt on?
Oh, geez, like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, well, I'm going to see. We're going to find out how long ago Chette put his shirt on. Okay? But until then, we would like to, before we bring our guests out, I would like to wish, oops, Ant Mail fan, Richie, I don't know. Oh, what? Ant Mail? Like snail mail, you mean? Use headphones. We'll cut down on all that feedback. I have headphones. Oh, you talking about Wojo? Anyways, we would like to wish one of our very own, my very good friend and who I consider my sister, one of the most loyal humans you'll ever meet in your entire life. At least to me, she's been the most loyal human I've ever met in my entire life. Mary Newbert, we'd like to wish you a happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mary. Happy birthday to you. We love you. Thank you, Mary. That's all you're getting out of me, though. Woo! Good Lord. What'd she say? Any mail yet, darn it. Oh, no, I have not seen anything in the mail yet. Happy birthday, Mary. Make sure everybody says happy birthday to Mary. We are going to bring our guests in. I think I'm missing one of them. He was just leaning to the right. So I got a lot to cover. As you guys know, I don't do research as far as my guests go. I like to have an organic conversation. So sometimes that takes a little extra time. So let's get started. I'm going to bring them both right in. We got Chette Nichols, Mr. Chette Nichols, and Mr. James. Is it James Dameron? Dameron? Is that how you say it?
Dameron.
I was so close. I think I said it right the first time, and then just screwed it up live here in front of the whole.
No, that's fine. It said that way. Yeah, some people use the E, and some don't, and it's fine.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. It got me off the hook. Hey, Bobby Lee, if you're still out there, my executive producer, I have linked to my Facebook, but my Facebook always comes up only me when we link it. So I don't think anybody else can see it on the Facebook. So I don't know if you can look into that link as far as linking to the pages and see if that can be changed or if it's just a Facebook thing. It's like they let me play it after the show's over. Thanks, Zuckerberg. Anyways, thank you guys for being here tonight, man. I'm super excited to have you. Chette, what time did you put on your Batman shirt?
5:15.
Oh, fuck. Wojo won.
Take it off, kid.
If I just had one normal show, that would be terrible, wouldn't it? No, thank you so much for being here, Chette. You've become a friend of mine, and we do talk as often as possible. Both very busy, a lot of life going on, and a lot of research going on, right?
Yes. In the field.
Yeah, the boots on the ground, right? BOTG. You got to have the boots on the ground. I mean, a lot of the people, they like to talk shit and they don't even own a pair of boots, right? It's crazy, right? So how did you two link up? Can I ask that? Have you known each other your whole lives, or from the same area, or how do
No,
you know each other?
actually, so I had picked out an area that I had been doing my research in, and had been finding some indications that there was, the usual signs, the tree breaks and
Mm-hmm.
the impressions. And then my area got caught in a wildfire and was pretty much destroyed.
Oh boy.
And so I was like, just kind of like wandering around the Otter Creek area up through northern Amherst County. And I was hearing a bunch of stories over in Nelson County and Amherst about the Coffeetown Screamer, and a bunch of banging and knocking on trailers, and some odd experiences that people had with Bigfoot in the area. And James kind of contacted me and asked if I'd be interested in visiting his area. I said, sure would. So everything from this point forward, what we discuss about what we found out there, it's all based on James' discovery of the area. He had hiked that area deep long before I even came into the picture. And that's how we met online.
So that's cool. All. So James, you saw him, like what his interests were and what his research was like, and reached out to him because you knew what had happened to the area. Is that what I'm getting from Chette? Is that?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was, I'm a trout bum with a Bigfoot problem. That's what I am. And I, just took them both hand in hand because I knew, I was out fishing in the mountains and where it's quiet. And then you realize that it's not quiet because there's something out there, And then over time, things happen, and you realize, and you see things, and you hear things, and the next thing you know, you realize what's doing it. Well, anyway, I had an experience almost exactly 2 years ago that turned me from, just taking Bigfoot as a casual thing out there. I didn't pay much attention to it. I knew he was there.
Right.
Wasn't really interested in really spending a lot of time roaming around because I knew they were there. But anyway, they come to me while I'm fishing. So anyway, I got to looking to see if anybody close by was having any experiences or similar. And of course, Chette's group popped out, which is not too far away from me, about an hour's drive. So of course, I contacted him and said, hey, I got some interesting stuff. Looking for somebody who's serious about this, to see what you think, So that's kind of how it was. It was kind of random. I just say, well, he was one of the first couple I saw. And he said it legit. Some of the stuff I see and the people out there are not.
Yes, that's true, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. That to me is two people that aren't afraid to be open about the subject, right? And two people that aren't gatekeepers either. One thing when I say gatekeep is, location is different than actual evidence, right? I don't want people stomping around my area either. So, because I don't know what they do to, will they respect it like we do? More than likely not really. So that type of thing, but to come together like that, or to reach out or be able to see, like I've watched Chette myself, and I like the way some of his thought process works, and he's very meticulous and adamant, I might add. Stop me if I'm wrong. And tenacious. But no, I've seen him kind of go at people too, where he's like, I need these answers. You know what I mean? What do you think? Tell me what you think. And he's not afraid to ask that question. And what we've done up here is similar to this, it's very similar, right? And sorry, I'm just putting up your links. It doesn't even look. It just says share. Like, why doesn't it have your name when I copy your link? So stupid.
Yeah, they're strange, aren't they?
It's just so stupid. Facebook's such a toilet, and we're consumed by it. Anyways, I digress. So we're the same sense. We're the same way up here, right? We don't want you in our area, but we are free and open to sharing everything, and we do have some bigger things coming down the pike that we want to historically document and make sure it's safe. You know what I mean? But we're going to share it as it was found and as it was heard. But we want to make sure everything is crossed and dotted, right? So when it comes out to certain things, like a print is a print, right? Here's a print. I show you the picture. Here's the cast. There's the cast. There's a 3D scan, the whole 9 yards. That is what it is. But when it comes to like audio and stuff, it's a little bit different. So you really got to try to preserve the audio and give the context that comes with the audio so people understand more. So I think a little bit like that, it makes it a little bit more different, as far as what you share and how you share it, how quickly you share it. When you guys are out there, right? Before I get into personal experiences and a little bit of background about yourselves, but I want to kind of see together what your minds are when you're out there, right? Have you guys had? Now I've been out with a couple of my buddies before, and I've been pretty adamant about things. Like I found a leaner, and it was debarked. There was no stump. It was put there. It was like there was nothing in the area for this thing to grow out of the ground. Nothing. I went through the leaves and everything looking for nothing. And he's like, oh, that's probably just Mother Nature. I'm like, no, dude, I'm pretty sure this was placed. Like, look around, So I was pretty adamant about it. And I actually have that video up on my YouTube. But do you guys find yourselves doing that with each other? Do you guys kind of go back and forth, or do you discuss and try to come to a final conclusion? Or does James walk away and say, yeah, you're fucking crazy, and just leave you over there by yourself and run out of the woods before it gets dark and leave you there? Like, how does that go? Can you give us a little idea?
Well, from my side, my perspective, a lot of times we come to pretty much a similar conclusion, but I will run an experience. For example, the last sighting that I actually had, seeing it sitting there with its back to me. That
right.
I don't care if I don't have the picture or not. I know what I saw. I know the dimensions of what I saw. I have been to the area. I know the dimensions of the tree and where he was sitting on the log, the rocks in the area. So when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, like you said, they can say there's no such thing as Bigfoot, but they can't tell me what I didn't see. They can't say, you didn't see that. I did see what I saw.
Right.
So whether it's a military operative or whether that's a hermit or it's a Bigfoot, I saw what I saw. And
right.
So the physical dimensions of it don't, though it may look and shape like a human, it's different. The shoulders are much wider. The head is much more, it's got an odd shape to the top that it comes down the sides. There was no visible ears. The hair was smooth. It wasn't these shaggy old costumes everybody wears and the hoaxers are always trying to do. It was smooth, like that of a deer, And I was really caught off guard seeing this particular one when we saw it. And why did I see it? Because I'm looking at a tree break that we didn't see before. And so it's like this. And so I'm on one side, we're driving up the road. I'm looking at this side. And as we go around it, I'm looking up the other side and get to the top. And I start coming down the tree like this. And there he is sitting right there on the other side of the tree on the log. And I can see it sitting there as plain as day. There's no leaves. There's no overgrowth. This was wintertime. And he was the same color as the bark on the tree as the sunshine hits it. And they were both in the sunlight, 10:30 in the morning, in the middle of the wilderness. There's no reason for anyone to be up there.
Right.
So when we get to the things, it's like I ran this thing through my head a few times. I told James, well, I thought maybe it was this, thought maybe it could be this.
It's funny how they does that.
The end of the day, there's only one thing it could have been.
Right.
Right, James?
To it too. I mean,
you're right. You saw what you know what you saw.
Exactly.
I mean, like I said, we know they're there. We found that out, and like I said, it's not up to me to say no, you didn't, or you to tell me that. It's up to us to say, okay. Then we go look to determine if there's evidence that he was there. And what did we do? We went back and we've been looking, and yes, the evidence is there. So, that's what you got to do. We work together on it instead of against each other.
The most fascinating part about researching in that area has been the fact we found out that this hasn't been the first time anybody's lived in that particular area. We're finding things that are dating back a long time. I found yesterday, just found a line of stones and a ring of stones about 6 feet across, just 30 feet from each other, overgrown with moss and leaf cover and stuff like that, that you would never even notice. You'd walk right by it. But when you're looking for it, I went back to look back over these trails and I said, look there, there's a line. Look at, there's a ring. Look at, this is amazing. And there's other great stuff that we found out there that on top of the tree breaks, having the stones thrown at us, seeing their little heads pop up and out of the brush, you know, and taking a look, trying to see where I'm at or where James is at. Oh, and you go, what? That's no bear.
Right. Right. Now, do you guys separate a lot or you stay together, James? You guys kind of stick together? Where do you go with that?
Well, sometimes we do go into a place together to a point, and we'll split up, and we'll each go around the side of a ridge, or one will go down a spring hollow, and one around the ridge. So we're kind of watching each other's backs. They're not going to jump out in front and wave and say hi. They flank you.
Oh, yes.
So anyway, we're trying to put ourselves in position where we can see each other's backs all the time. And that's what you got to do. You got to go out there and hunt.
It is a hunt. It's a word. It's a word we don't like to use in the research field, but with the technique that you're talking about, you've got to think like a hunter, because I find myself being a tracker, and like the.
Well, it's that too. You're a hunter. You're a tracker.
Right.
And who knows? I mean, you can add other monikers to it as well, I guess, but you come up with. But yeah, I mean, you got to be fully rounded in your thought process and going out there. If you want to look for them and find them, you got to know what you're thinking about and go about it right.
Yeah, correct. And that's that. Go ahead, Wojo. Sorry.
Oh no, no. Go ahead, Rich. You go ahead.
No, just the tracking part that I was kind of touching on was, you know, like we've done this many times, and when I started doing this, it came. I had it right. The interactions right in my very backyard. I own property in what's called the Bridgewater Triangle in southeastern Massachusetts, and I have 3 acres of land that abuts 94 acres of conservation.
I was there 2 years ago.
What's that, James?
I swung through there 2 years ago doing some fishing, and some of the areas around in there I was at, Massachusetts, and that area you're talking about, right in that little area through Vermont, Whitehall, New York. The same feel that I get in certain places here in Virginia, I certainly had on some of the streams.
I think that's huge, and that's why we open up the doors to communication, right? Because we're going to get to that during the show. I want to try to do some comparisons, and I'm going to probably pop off some evidence up on the screen, and I kind of want to see if you guys hear and see the same things we hear and see, and how do you react to them. I think it would be very important for the research, because that's the most important thing to me. It's not about clicks and views and everything else. I use this as a tool in order to communicate with other researchers, to try to find out where we're at. But when this started happening in my backyard, it was all about breaks. It was all about structures. It was different things like that. And I was kind of following them. And I have compost all over the ground, pine needles, leaves, years and centuries of it, So every once in a while, I could see this deep impression in this compost, and I'd be like, "What in the hell's that?" And I go and put my foot next to it. It's bigger than my foot, and then my foot wouldn't sink in like it. You know what I mean? So it would pop right back up like a mattress. You know what I mean? So it would just come right back up, and I'm like, "Why is that stuck there?" So things like that started happening. So it became like a tracker, and in this area where we're at, we've had so much success by tracking the tall grass and, following the path that's made that wasn't a game trail before. We know where the game trails are, but the seasons change. And then you find these little prints in it and you're like, oh, here we go. And then all of a sudden you find a break. And then we almost walked right into them a few times where they ended up running through the woods and stuff around us. So, it's important that you have these types of things when you say it's a hunt. It is a hunt, you know what I mean? But it's not about the kill of the hunt. It's about the hunt of the hunt, right? No. So James, I want to get to you for a second. So you're obviously a big trout fisherman and you fish a lot of streams, right? Is that where Bigfoot got your attention?
Yes. Well, yes. I'm just my older brother took me to see the Legend of Bogger Creek when I was 11 years old. What was it, 72? And it was always on my mind, of course. And anyway, never thought much about it until start realizing that you're hearing things and you're hearing noises. And then one day you realize that acorns only fall off the trees in the fall of the year, not in April or May.
Yes.
You know? And then you say, well, wait a minute. I know that's not an acorn. So you pick up a rock. So I fish in mountain streams, a lot of rocks everywhere. The Appalachian Mountains look similar all the way down the line. You know, it's amazing. I could see places when I was in your area up in a couple years ago, that looked just like a place here. And I said, man, you know, I could imagine I'm home, you know. But then you pick up a rock and you throw it down there from a distance, you know, something that's the size of a quarter or so. And you hear it hit that rock and make that tinking noise, and then you know, okay, well, now I know rocks don't fall out of trees. I know that for sure. And acorns are certainly not falling in April or May or June. And so that means something's being thrown. So, and where I'm at, a lot of times, you know, there's no cars on the road coming in.
There's nobody out there.
I mean, there's no trails anywhere nearby that somebody's going to cut through the woods for a mile and randomly run up on me and say, hey, let's play with them some rocks. Well, I mean, if those things happen, I'm not leaving. What I do, I'm listening and going about my business, trying to ignore you so I can circle around and see if I can get a look at you, you know? If you're a person, I'm going to run up on you and find you. That's not what's happening out there. And anyway, like I said, the more time you spend, and I guess what got me for a long time was when you're around a trout stream, the water makes a lot of noise. You can't hear much. You know, you concentrate on what you're doing ahead, looking at the water and whatever, and you hear that tinkle of that rock, you know, so that catches your attention. Otherwise, unless you're hiking in and out, you don't hear anything. You know, then you realize somebody's walking behind you in the woods, you know. So once again, when I've heard these things over the years, you know, didn't pay much attention to it until it really started hitting home, and then I saw one, you know, a few years back, and of course, then your interest really sparks. So it's kind of been in my mind all my life, but over the past 25 years, the experiences have, I just grown. It's been more and more of them, and it's a lot about the places I go. I can recognize the type of places they like now. So when I go a place somewhere I hadn't been, I say, this looks good. Keep an eye open, you know. We'll find something, you know, tree break. Some places I don't even, good looking area, but I don't know. But, you know, I kind of learned how to recognize what to look for, the type of habitat. And they like these streams in the mountains where it's cold, cool in the summer, and the food is very plentiful in these stream hollows. And so that's the thing. It's about the habitat and learning that. But like I said, I mean, for so long I couldn't hear anything because of the water. And then when I was away from the water, I started paying more attention and just taking a break out there and just listening. And I mean, you like you had touched base on earlier. You got to get out there, get in the woods.
100%.
I've jaunted around the park a couple times a year. Just
chewing on the nuts.
Who's chewing on the nuts?
Can you hear it?
Yeah, who is it?
Not me. None of
us. I can hear it.
We got another person on the mic somewhere.
No. There's nobody else here.
No.
I could hear it.
We got Chewy online, huh?
Yeah, he's snuck in on.
Wojo, what were you going to say now? Something about you were chewing on nuts? You chew these nuts?
Chew these nuts. Real quick, hello, Benzo.
I know. Look at them all. Benno and TKB.
Virax.
Yeah. I think that's is that Daniel Benoit in disguise on the Bigfoot zone? Is that what that is?
Bigfoot zone.
Is that him? Is that him in disguise? I can't see the picture. ECBRO. AI eating nuts. Virax. What's up? Yeah, it's great to see everybody here. That's awesome, man. Good to see you.
Well,
Go
my
ahead, Ward.
follow-up to James was, do you do a lot of nighttime fishing?
No, trout fishing in Virginia, you can't. You can only fish from like 5 a.m. till half hour after dusk. It's not like some states for trout. So yeah, you're out. It's not like catfishing. This is I'm using pliers, and it's about a lot of it's about being able to see what you're doing in these creeks. So yeah, I get out of them mountains when I can't see where I'm going and stumbling around and get up to the truck, then listen up there.
Yeah, no, it's just we have a friend of ours. He goes nighttime fishing, and usually about 4 o'clock in the morning, and usually they fish for a couple of hours. And well, it's still dark at the time. He would get rocks thrown at him.
Yeah.
Actually, in a lot of places he goes to fishing, and we believe that the Bigfoot.
You hear that a lot. Yeah, people who fish from the bank from shore and catfish at night and have their lantern and campfire.
Well,
those type of people. That's the kind of thing too. If I did that type of fishing a lot, which I did a lot of it.
And Chette, do you guys go out nighttime nighttime investigations?
I like camping out at night, but I don't go out at night because of my vision.
Okay.
So I have a cataract developing on this side, and I don't have very good night vision anymore. So
yeah, our camping trips at night, we build our campfire, we sit there so we can watch each other's back, and we just wait for them to come watch us. You don't have to go out in the woods
recorders out and cameras out all night long. Get some pretty interesting sounds and everything. Some odd looking pictures, videos come out so well on at night as you would like them to. We don't do a lot of nighttime stuff because like what happened yesterday. We came across a 4-foot rattler. So I mean he come wandering out of the forest, going across the road in front of us, and we were just sitting right there. You don't want to be stepping on one of those at night.
No, I heard it's not good.
And and the hills here in Virginia, they can get pretty dang steep.
Yeah.
I mean, you very quickly you could roll down one side of the mountain. You ain't coming back up without a winch. and you're rolling down. It's steep, and it's 45 or more degrees steeper, and it's close to 60 in some places. And you down that hill.
Well, Richie better get a tow truck for me.
What I do like the daytime myself. We've had sightings in the daytime. I've seen them. James has seen them. Other people say they've seen them in the daytime. So I don't see why that's why I never went to nighttime here in Virginia, because people were seeing them during the day. But the nighttime stuff was really crazy because there involves screaming and banging on trailers and haunting some of the hikers along the Appalachian Trail.
Right.
So I stay away from the nighttime stuff, but the daytime has been pretty productive. It's been really
very productive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been very, very good for us. Even yesterday, we went out. First thing we do, we get to the area, and I swear I see something move. And it could have been a deer. It could have been anything. But later on, as we're looking through it, James says to me, something's been through here just recently. And I mean, there was even mushrooms that were just kicked off out in front of us that had not been touched by any of us. And there's no one else out there. No footprint, but the trail has mushroom that's been kicked up and turned over. And a lot of interesting things. We split up yesterday, and James will share with you some of his stuff. I split up. We met at a place where we found a carcass of a deceased bear.
Yeah.
There wasn't much left of it. It had been scattered by the animals. But from that point, James went downstream, and I went downstream on the stream above him in the same direction. But we got to a certain point. James steps down in the rocks. He's already down 20 feet further than I can get. And I can't get through the laurel grove.
Yeah.
Too thick. So I go back, and I'll just check out this area. I find the row of stones. I find the stone circle. And I start looking around, and I see what looks like a row of a wall. it looks like just a rock sticking out of the side of the mountain. Looks like a wall and a path right next to it at the bottom of the. So I start walking up that, and I follow around. I find another row of stones protruding out of the mountain. The path goes along that, and I go up a little further. Then I get around 2 more rocks. I come up underneath them, and that's when I have an experience that I don't quite understand yet and have not really put together whether or not it was something that happened to me physiologically or something was there. But I came to the 2 rocks, big rocks. They're 10 feet tall. I'm walking by. As they come to the other side, start to turn to go up around those rocks, you're kind of looking uphill because everything's uphill. The sun is straight up, okay? And I'm looking up at a 10 o'clock or a 2 o'clock, if you want to call it something like that. I'm looking at a 2 o'clock. It would be 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm looking out there. I get blinded. And I go, man, that sun's bright. So I stop right there. And man, wow, I really took in a lot of sunlight. Because the thing was, I didn't look at the sun. I didn't look up at the sun. So I'm wondering why. And my right eye is developing a cataract, so it's really holding that light in my eye. Mm-hmm. But I'm blinded basically in both eyes trying to see. And it was like a bright flash. I didn't even realize what happened. I just thought, wow, man, the sun is bright. But the funny thing was, if the sun was straight up above me, it was not out in front of me where the brightness got me. And I didn't throw my head back like that with my hat on, to see it.
Yeah.
So here I am blinded and I'm going, this is really weird. And I am a little disoriented from that because my vision's kind of fighting itself, trying to see where I can walk. So I walk to the top of these 2 big stones and I sit on top of them. And I start shaking. I feel sick to my stomach suddenly. Suddenly I feel, and I'm thinking the Dazzler flashlight the military could use could do this because and an infrasound device can do this. But also heard reports of people saying that they've been bright lights associated with their nighttime encounters with Bigfoot. Well, this was the middle of the day, guys. And it was so bright, whatever it was. Now, James suggested that maybe I was a little altitude sickness. So I look, and that's how you do it. I share. He goes, let's be negative. He's gonna be the devil's advocate with me. So he says it could be altitude sickness. So I look at that, and I got that. The rest of the altitude, I don't have anything. And this says here, altitude rarely happens below 8,000 feet. So we're at 3,200, 3,600 feet, 3,800 feet, somewhere around there. So, but I wasn't sick at first. I was just blinded. But when I got to the top of the top of the rocks and sat down on the moss on the top of these rocks, I was like, wow, I feel sick. I feel like I'm going to throw up. I'm like, what is this? And I'm thinking, we were just talking about this a while back about woo and this sort of stuff. But we still, like I said, there is a military application that mimics what I experienced yesterday. Yeah. So I left the area. I got back down. I said, I'm going to go to my pack, go to the car. I went back down to where we found the car because got my backpack, went back to the truck. And But the funny thing was, the further I got away from that spot, the better I began to feel. And when I got back to the truck, I was fine. So I didn't get to get up where James was below, and he went down below, and so I sat for a while by the truck waiting for James to come back up out of the holler there.
Interesting. Yeah, we've been through that.
One thing.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, we can't deny one thing, that weird things happen up here. About a mile further up the road from the episode, we call a little spot called the Wood Booger Plateau, our fictional name for a spot. And several times, I haven't had the light flash, but the same symptoms have just suddenly come across me like out of the blue. And last a little bit, pass. Weird. Nowhere else in the area has affected me but there. Now, Chette's had one down there. So, Once again, strange things happened, and we're trying to figure it all out,
Well, we've had the same thing. So the woo part of Bigfoot, we did a whole episode. We did a 2-part series on, because I was never big on the woo. I was always about what I experienced, and what I experienced was flesh and blood. What I heard and dealt with and saw, and the way it interacted, and the way it was, the intellect that it carried. I was so stuck on it being primitive human. You know what I mean? Maybe closer to the ape. That's why, as we are, we're further from it than it, so to speak, but not the missing link necessarily. So I was so stuck on that. But I got to be honest with you. I've experienced some woo shit, man, and woo shit like the self-illuminating eyes that you see behind me. That's the exact color that I saw in the woods, and there wasn't much natural or not natural light that is those two things behind me in that color, but that's what I saw, and it was about 11 feet up. So, and I've never had an orb or anything like that. Never UFO experience dropping off Bigfoot after a party out in Vegas or whatever he does. Nothing like that. But I've had some stuff. I've been zapped. So I believe a couple of times the symptoms were exactly the same, and it lasted about 3 to 4 days. And I even went to the doctors and got blood work done and everything. I'm 54. Every time you get sick, it's over. This is it. It's a wrap. Dead. Bye. You know what I mean? You're like, oh my God, I stubbed my toe. I should get blood work. You know what I mean? It's just what happens. You know what I mean? It's just the way it goes now, Really, I'm just looking for a side colonoscopy when nobody's looking. But anyways, back to you, Bob. So, this stuff started happening, and it was pretty wild. And I had to start asking the questions, man.
Right.
Like, is this woo shit real? Because the research that I'm doing evolves, right? It brings me to where it wants me to go. It's not, I'm finding things because I got the boots on, I'm on the ground, and I'm doing the footwork. And then it starts bringing me to these different places that I'm like, no way. Like this self-illuminating eyes thing that, Wojo was like, oh, those eyes. And I'm like, stop saying eyes. You know what I mean? And like, we don't know if it was eyes. Stop saying eyes. We got to be sure before we say anything, And then all of a sudden, I'm just here like a week after that going, they're fucking eyes. That's what I saw, man. There was a green and yellow hue. It was low to the ground. There was 3 sets of them. And then there was this big one up higher, and they were red. That's what I saw. That is exactly what I saw. It was on my YouTube Live. You can go back and see it. We do YouTube Live regularly. So anytime you have a question about our research, just go back and watch it. It's live. It's uncut. It's unedited. It's no bullshit. But I have to process. I'm a processor. Everything I do, I have to process. I search for the rational, and then I process it. And once the rational starts to dissipate or get overshadowed, I'm like, oh, shit, dude. I don't want to do the woo, man. No, not the woo,
Exactly.
It's crazy, man. I don't know what to say. What we got a couple. I'm sorry. Benno says, could it be 2 different distinct phenomena? One 3D real creature and one woo thing. Oh, bro, Benno, dude, I'm gonna have to drop a couple of hits of acid to have this conversation, brother. Yeah, maybe chew on some peyote and go visit Jim Morrison. No, but listen, I can only say this. From the things that we have now that will be coming out soon with the recordings that we have, that, like I said, has to be documented and historically kept properly. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Anything from, the woo part of it to mimicking, to all kinds of different things, and the mimicking thing is kind of more realistic for me, right? Like, for instance,
We know about that.
Yeah. So, but if you think about it, right? Like Native Americans or whatever, even hunters. If you know what you're doing and you have 3 sets of hunters and you're not going to blow out frequencies and be on a walkie-talkie. Yeah, there's a deer over to the right. You know what I mean? Or do you want to make the sound of a robin? Or do you want to make the sound of a blue jay? Or do you want to be the owl? And if you're all communicating like this, right, then you can kind of pool whatever you're chasing together and go get it by using animal sounds, right? So why wouldn't you ever mimic Mother Nature if you're in the middle of a hunt? Why wouldn't
That's
you
what
ever?
they do.
Right. Well, now, right. But we actually believe that we have proof of that, and that's the crazy part of it. And I'm just kind of putting out teasers, but it's like it's not really teasers because I have to document this properly historically and make sure it's assigned correctly. So, because we're not gatekeepers, we share everything. But again, when it's a historical type mention or it's a historical type level, we as researchers have a responsibility to hold it over for the next generation. For instance, the card that it's on will never be used again. It goes into a case, it gets labeled, and if the subject ever comes up, then my kids know what to do with it. You know what I mean? That's how important this is, and everybody has to understand that this is a very important research field, and we have to be really careful about it. Wojo, what's your favorite question you want to ask Chette right now besides his shirt?
No, Chette, do you all right, so we experience like different sounds. Obviously the whoops, the mimic sounds. What about the humming? You guys like ever experience like the hums, the mouth pops, things like that?
We've had the pops, the cork pop sounding.
Yeah.
And the other day, even, I was just standing near a tree and I look over and there's a stream coming out of where this oak tree's at. And the water's coming out of that tree. It's making that noise.
Interesting.
Hear it. So sometimes it's trees, but other times when you get that one, you're out there in the middle and it's quiet, and all of a sudden, one super loud cork pop. Almost like a trapdoor spider had just slammed his door shut.
Yeah.
We hear a lot of grunts too.
Yeah.
Throat clearing.
Oh, right. The chest pops too.
I think I don't want to blow the thing up. I think there was something we were looking at a little earlier.
Yeah, we could put it up.
Yeah,
we
could put it up. This, and I'll tell you, when we had to decide, was that one or was it the other, and you could tell the difference. The growl versus the regular beat of the
What about
animal?
What about just straight clicking? I hear there's a lot of clicking, a lot of like a squirrel sound, but more guttural, like clicking. Like
I've not heard a lot of click.
No, yeah, I've heard of it. I'm starting, I think, to hear more of it.
Well, we hear a lot of rock in our area. In particular, for me, I hear a lot of rock clacks. And
rock.
Chette did an experiment. I was about probably 100 feet from him, and he picked up a couple rocks. I didn't know it, and he did. He was down by the truck, and I was out checking a spot where I'd seen something look out behind a tree a couple weeks ago, and he did a couple of hand-sized rock clacks, and I'm like, wow, that's exactly what I've been hearing out here in places. And I look down, of course, Chette's down there and hiding behind the truck doing it. So to me, that was a great. It really kind of like, wow, that's what I heard. It's a rock clack. So that it really
rock clacks.
Yeah, it's a distinct sound, To
get him to see if what he really heard was a rock clack. He's telling me, I heard rock clack stuff. Okay, so he's off. I'm going to do a rock clack because I want to see exactly if that's what he thinks he really. Right. So he's not doing it himself. I'm doing it. He doesn't know when.
Right.
Clack the rock, and you could tell by the expression that he makes, the way that he looked, that was the sound
I
heard before. And then I knew, okay, so I've got an idea now that, if it's somebody, like he says, who's going to go off the beaten trail in the middle of the week, in the middle of the day, to find a couple guys wandering around in the wilderness to honk. And yesterday I hear the male and female voice. It sounds, they sound Scandinavian, but the language sounded more like the chattery Vietnamese style. kind of pretty sound in the way that it diddly sounds. You know, if you ever heard Vietnamese, if you ever hear two Vietnamese ladies fighting, you'll never know it.
Yeah, no, I'd never ever had the experience of listening to two Vietnamese ladies fighting.
Anyway,
No, I only one I ever heard say anything to me was $50, please.
so
Don't judge me.
you hear the voices and I hear them. I'm trying to focus on, and I'm away from the streams. I'm not hearing streams.
Right, we've heard it. We know what he's saying.
What is that voice? And then all of a sudden,
yeah, that's so
and I go, whoa.
Yeah,
And
we hear that a lot.
Audio, because I didn't get it on audio, you know.
Yep.
And I'm trying to fiddle with my phone to get it on so they can get the recording of the voices that I think I'm hearing. That, like, again, they sound like they're voices in down the hallway, kind of muffled, but still clear enough that you can.
Oh yeah, there's something going on over there. Yeah. We've stopped dead cold again on our YouTube lives. Go, is somebody talking over there?
Yes.
And I've had the experience of listening to them go back and forth within 70 to 80 feet of us. Me and two other researchers listened to them. I have that whole story where they went back and forth, and then they were done, and there was a loud chest pop. One went like that. The other one started talking, and when he was done, he went, and it was just like that, and it sounded like that clicky sound, kind of like Chewbacca, like that at first, and then it breaks into this, and it was just like that. And I was listening to it in my backyard, like 70, 80 feet from a guy with the, I always call him the four letter place, but he came out to do research on my story because he had heard about it through a friend. You know what I mean? And I had allowed him to come out back with me, and we sat there listening to the whole conversation between two of them. It was absolutely astounding, and I didn't realize how significant that was in the Bigfoot world because, you know, people are like, oh, I'm a knower. You know, I've seen him. I've done this. I've done that. And I'm like, yeah, have you ever heard him talk back and forth and have a conversation? They're like, what? You did what? And I'm like, why? Is that a big deal? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, wow, okay. But, yeah, we've heard it. So I know the samurai chatter, but it's also mixed in with that clicky sound and kind of up and down tones where they can go way high, drop way down. You know what I mean? So it can be all different types of things. And that's why the mimicking, I think, is more, it's not even just that it's plausible, it's factual. Right. And you know, we have things, like I said, that'll be coming out that it proves it. It 100% proves it because there's no way in my mind with what you hear that thing can't do anything. I pretty much believe that Bigfoot could shave his nipples and sing Barry Manilow. 100% after what I heard on that recorder. I'm like, this dude could go to Broadway or he could go to Vegas and do whatever he wants. Like, seriously. He could probably do Celine Dion. Like, seriously.
Oh,
the sounds that we caught are mind-blowing, and it's going to blow your mind. And a lot of you researchers will be getting it. Once we get it all cleared up and ready to go, it'll be going to certain researchers privately, you know what I mean? But it's just that we just don't want it to get out there and get flooded and then stolen and people talking shit and ruining it. And that's the problem. And we got to make sure we know exactly what steps to take to do that correctly. You know what I mean? So trust is a big thing, as we know, right, boys? And it's about history. I don't give a shit if you watch my podcast or my lives. I do not give a shit. I'm trying to cover history, and I'm trying to cover my ass. And that's what I'm doing. And it just so happens you seem to be enjoying yourself, so I'm going to let you stay around for a while.
Yeah.
That's where I do weird smile. Everybody do weird smile.
Mother always watches.
That's right.
Yeah, well, I don't give a fuck about that. But
you
anyway.
hear the raven? You ever hear him mimic a raven?
No, not unless you actually do it here on my show, James. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I can't do it. You ever heard the Bigfoot?
Well, you got to try, James. You got to try.
Oh, I can't do it.
And don't you help him, Chette. This is
it's a croak. They do a croaking sound.
Yes, we've heard that, and me and Wojo have had said we bust them all the time. We think they're full of shit. I've been in whistling matches, I believe, with Sasquatch, and I heard spit come out of his mouth. Oh yeah, I heard spit come out of his mouth, and I started yelling at him. That sucked. That was terrible. I busted you. And Wojo's like, I think that was one of your first like maybe first handful of investigations with me, and I'm arguing with whatever's over there, and I'm like, you didn't hear that spit come out of his mouth? That's not a fucking bird. That was terrible, Bigfoot. I'm screaming at him, right? Then I remember I'm on a live. I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing, everybody? I can't help myself. I just get so caught up in the passion, you know what I mean? The investigation.
I tell them to. I say, I know you over there.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
And,
Do you want me to play that thing, Chette, and we can see if it's a mimic?
What we have the same recording, except that we have the one where when we can bring it out, because that's the biggest. We had poor recording, but you can hear that last one that you have on yours. We have it every 30 seconds, like 5 or 6 times in a row. The last one, and we have recording of the actual animal doing its thing, but it's not exactly the same. But it's got that duration and that pitch.
So, and this is the other thing I try to explain to people. When we present something to you, you have to understand context.
Yeah.
And because you're not there, you don't have the context. And what I'm going to share with you right now is in the direction of me and Wojo standing there and hearing this big loud break behind us. This is just this morning. We already had movement next to us, and I went after it, and then it hunkered down. And I said to Wojo, if that's a regular animal, that sucker's still running, man. I think you can hear it way over there, getting the hell out of there. Whatever it was, stopped, froze, and hunkered down. And then we come back around, and we're standing by the Farley, what we call the Farley. It's by the river. It's a Chris Farley thing. But down by the river, so we named it the Farley. And we're standing there looking out at the river, and you hear this loud crack behind us. And Wojo, you see him on the live snap around. Well, lo and behold, 10 or 15 minutes later, we get this recording in the same exact direction. And I know the beginning of it sounds like a crystal clear type woodpecker. I get it. But there's that dude in the end. And you and Sparky went back and forth, and you're both very keen with your ears on this, that it sounds like there's different sounds. Like a woodpecker makes a sound, right? The woodpecker over there makes a sound, depending on the wood, it'll sound different, right? But not necessarily the woodpecker, because they're systematic. This is what they do. They're cookie cutter. Here they are. You know, they're gonna be like, "Hi, my name's Dan. My name's Steve." You know what I mean? It's not that variation. They do one thing. That's what they do. And you and Sparky kind of picked up on the different sounds mixed into the first set of woodpeckers. Right? Or it sounds like different woodpeckers, but the last guy is the key.
Yep.
The last guy is the key. That's, I'll just let you guys hear it. Let me pull it up. Let's see. Everybody.
James, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's fun, man. This is just this morning. And we don't bring anything up to say anything is factual. We are researchers. This is research. The definition for research is the quest for facts. So we're bringing it up to present it to you. That's all we're doing, man. So everybody, let's see. I'm glad to see everybody on the side talking. Varax is having a conversation with Tennessee. Sparky's jumping in and out. We got Mama Bear Claw over there. I love this. This is the community that we wanted to create, where everybody could come here and just talk and have fun. And the one stat I look for every night after my shows is how many chats. How many chats did we have?
Well,
like how many?
By 6:15, so that's a lot of chats already.
Oh, well, that's good. See, well, just see what I mean. It's so important to us because that's the community that we want to create. We want to have that conversation. So thank you guys for talking and sharing. Keep talking, keep sharing. I'm going to pull up a video right now, and we're just going to see what we all think. Let's have a discussion about it. Let's see. Local video. I did it. Oh, wait. I got to see how much time is on. Oh, damn it. They're right next to each other. Shut up. Oh, that's 12 seconds. Oh, that's the one that I think is a pop, but he cleaned it up. It almost sounds like a knock.
Right.
But when I heard it live in the woods, I heard the pop. It was like a pop.
Yeah.
Oh, and we had things thrown at us 6 times today, too, by the way, guys.
Yeah, that was a record.
That was a record. That was so cool. All right, this video here is 1 minute and 11 seconds long. I want everybody to get on their headphones. Headphones on, everybody. And just speaking for myself, when I put my headphones on, my pants come off. So don't worry, I won't stand up. Here we go.
Woodpecker.
Wait. That's woodpecker. Wait.
Right there.
Okay.
Violated.
After we whistle is the subject that
woodpecker.
is in question. So go ahead.
That was loud.
You never heard that about you?
No.
That's not a woodpecker.
I know. Hang on. Some aren't. Some aren't. So weird.
Just wait.
Up, that's why.
All right, so what do you got now?
Yeah.
Here it comes. I gotta throw in some jaw. Here it comes.
What was that?
That guy.
That
That's
guy.
not a fucking woodpecker,
That's the
bro.
guy
There
right
you go.
there. That is a completely different sound than all the other sounds. And Wojo, was that movement?
How
and
often do we
breaking?
hear that, Chet?
Did
We
you hear
heard that on the night of the eclipse
Yeah.
Hey, listen,
Every
let them have their moment.
at
It's in the woods all the
4:45,
time. Yeah.
going from about 3:45 to about 4:15. It went every 30 seconds. I heard about 15 or 20 of them. I had a bunch of them recorded on the recorder, and they sounded exactly like that last one.
Well, I am gonna play it again because I want everybody to hear that last guy again. It's very important. Wojo says, "What was that?" Wojo says, "What was that?" But you heard breaking or movement, right, Wojo? Because I just heard it for the first time.
It was like a quick snapper.
It was a snap.
Yeah.
So right before the whistles, in between the whistles, and Wojo goes, "What was that?" You can hear a snap. So mind you, again, I want to emphasize the direction where this sound is coming from. The woodpecker, all right, is coming from. No, it does. To me, it does not sound. And you can hear me in the video say that doesn't sound like a woodpecker. That's all I'm going to say. But that last guy gave it away. I think he done fucked up. So I think he's the juvenile, and he's trying to perfect his skills, and he's just not good at it yet. But there's a grasp in that. There's a grasp in that last woodpecker.
Yeah.
He's like, and I felt like going, you ain't a woodpecker. You know what I mean? Like busting his ass. So I'm gonna play it again. But I just want to emphasize that. All right, guys. And there is a break in there, and there was a break in the direction where this sound was coming from. And in the 10 years that I've been researching, when it all started in my backyard in the Bridgewater Triangle, I'd never heard this type of woodpecker. I'm not saying they don't exist. I listened to a bunch of them today, and none of them sounded like this. Not even the pileated. No offense, Wojo. It is very close to us. That's the key, and so wasn't that break. So let's do it one more time. All right, you ready, James?
Yes.
All right, let's go. Is this fun? You having fun yet?
Oh man, this is great.
Yeah, isn't this a good time? I love it, man. We have so much fun around here. The only thing I have not done yet was like cut out my nipples on my shirts. I think I'm going to do that next week.
Oh, okay.
I got it.
We'll be ready for that.
Yeah, James will be like, and internet off.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with having fun, man.
Yeah, I love having fun. It's a great day. It sets therapy for me. So everybody, here we go. That same video. Make sure you have your headphones on, ready to roll. Let's research. If I can just double click it like a normal person. There we go. What the fuck?
Woodpecker.
That doesn't sound like
Like a big woodpecker.
Little off.
Right there.
Yeah, it is a little off.
Pileated.
That's
Pileated woodpecker.
Doesn't sound
That
right.
was loud.
You never heard that out here before.
No.
that was off too.
It's
Mhm.
not high up, that's why.
All right, so
That one's off.
That one's off too. They're separated. Not as tight. Listen to the break. There's a break coming up.
What was that?
Yeah, you couldn't hear it. That guy.
That's not a fucking woodpecker, bro.
Listen.
All right.
Hang on.
That's that same thing we heard and it was not a woodpecker either.
Yeah, watch. This is it, right? I'm going to play it again. I'm going to try to loop it a little.
What was that?
That guy is way off.
You can hear that, if we were hanging out more,
Hang on.
What was that?
Yeah, that is throaty to me. I'm sorry, that's throaty to me.
There's a
Yeah.
breath in it. Yes, there's a breath in it.
I believe there is, and I believe it's throaty. And let me tell you something. This is where I get fired up because I love this shit. Okay, I didn't go looking for it; it came to me. Okay, when I had my experience, this is how this all has started, and I got goosebumps, man. And there's some parts of the recordings we have that are kind of similar to what I'm hearing now, and it's almost like I know what you got. Because I had never heard this sound before. I've never, ever, ever recorded or heard this sound in my woods in 10 years. I promise you, swear to God. Ever. I don't care, woodpecker or not. I've heard woodpeckers. I've heard that stuff. This sounds like a rolling type of click, right? A rolling type of woodpecker. That's what it sounds like to me. It's so tight and so precise that as soon as it variates a little bit, you can almost hear the guttural. I'm sorry. I'm just not buying totally wood. I don't hear the wood. I don't
That's
hear the
me.
wood banging. I just don't.
Yeah. The sound that resonates
There
from
it
a
is.
tree being
Oh.
struck by a woodpecker, you can hear if you listen close, and that is absent there for sure. I mean, that's not a woodpecker. That's a throating click out of the throat that's making that noise. That is not a
I'm
woodpecker.
with you on this. I'm with you on this. And again, Wojo is an experienced hunter. He's had many years in the woods. He's an honest, straight up guy with no drama. He doesn't like Bigfoot. He ain't doing that. He searches for the rational, which I love. And then we work back from there. Then we further the research. Then we step into it a little bit deeper. And then the research will evolve and take you where it needs to go, I think. And that we both think like that. And I think
That's good.
the first reaction is saying that's a woodpecker is a good thing for us, and it's a good thing for any researcher out there, because what's going to happen to you is you'll say that, and then you'll start listening to it in your truck, and then you'll start listening to it when you get home, and then you'll replay it again, and you'll go, "Oh my God!" Is that what happened to you, Wojo? What are you thinking?
Can I just like say one thing is that the context that we discussed, okay? Now, first of all, Richie just did two quick whoops. And then 5 seconds later, that's when the woodpecking started going on.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I said, I did say it was high, and it's a pileated woodpecker, but I was processing the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Processing because, as Richie was saying, it is so loud. I've never heard a woodpecker that loud.
So loud.
Like doing that. But Benno. I know, but
there's no fucking C in it.
So Benno's right. It's funny that Benno he said, mimicking like a bullfrog, right? It's got that bullish, like, I don't know, voice behind it. That's my thought process. And I can't believe he brought that up. And in the meantime, we have things thrown at us, and it's that general direction where that's all happening. And then, we're whistling, and then all of a sudden, you hear a snap, and then that tone. Oh, he completely like botched that. And I knew that. I did say to Richie, maybe different wood. I'm like that, but I knew it just didn't sound right. But you have to be like, in that moment of everything going on and everything happening to us in that context, it is like really, you have to slow it down, which we did, and really have this discussion. And I'm glad you two are here and everybody else listening to this, because I'll tell you, it was loud. I mean, incredibly loud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can be very loud. I've watched these woodpeckers actually do it, and the sound that comes off them is just amazingly. You just get how can that bird even handle that? But like you listen to that last one. That last one is a perfect example of what we heard during the eclipse just this year. Was it March 13th and 14th or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It had that, like you said, that air. It had the air, like the nostril air, the guttural sound in the background of the throat.
Richie.
I know, dude. I can't.
Yeah. I got goosebumps listening to.
I do not go that loud. I can might be able to mimic it, but I could never make it that loud to sound like that. And we were hearing whatever was doing it was over a quarter mile away, easy. Wouldn't you say, James?
Yeah, it was a ways off, but yeah,
He
it
was
carried
mad
well.
there. The first time we came there, it was upset that we were there. That's what the problem was. He was mad. We got to his little spot.
You know what I just? You know what I
But
just?
also,
One of our
Chette.
guys is a little grumpy, and the rest
I'm
of
sorry.
them so far seem to be pretty okay. But there is one grumpy one out there we know of.
What?
But for both of you, I mean, like their lungs is second to none. Like it just how they like when they do these mimics, it's like there's such level in the frequency behind it. It's just second to none. I know someone talked about I think it was V-Rex, I think, talking about owl mimicking. Okay, we were out doing we were speakers out in Western Mass in Russell, Massachusetts, at the Colorado Critter Fest, and we did do an expedition. But what was cool was that there's about 11 of us, and there was owl mimicking. And I'm glad Richie just stepped it up, and he challenged them. So whatever they made the sound, Richie was trying to make the sound back. But when Richie started doing them differently, you could tell they were screwing up even more. Right, Rich?
Oh yeah. I challenge them. I kind of go at them because I can tell the difference sometimes. I'm sorry, I have a technical difficulty. I only have YouTube comments, and you can see me commenting on my Facebook, but none of my Facebook friends. Yeah. I have to look on my phone to see them. Like Denny's on the Facebook right now, and I didn't acknowledge them, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm not acknowledging them because that's not cool. No, so yeah, so we heard it, and I have a tendency to kind of go at them a little bit with that stuff, like no, not today, and then I give it back to them, and you can kind of get there. You are, Den. Yeah, now it just came up on Facebook.
Oh, hey, Denny.
Look that's the first Facebook comment besides mine. Denny, sorry, man. If you scroll up, everybody on YouTube is commenting. Everybody. There's no Facebook comments whatsoever until I just commented, and now he just commented.
Yeah, I see. No.
Wonder if that triggered it. So you can almost hear that they get exasperated with me. You know what I mean? Like this fucking dude. You know what I mean? You can almost hear it, and they slip up. They slip up. I've caught them slipping a few times, man. So if you're out there researching anybody, don't be afraid to go back and try it. Just try it because you might get something that variates from what you're hearing. A woodpecker that's up in the tree, if you make a woodpecker sound back, he ain't going to be like, oh, that guy's a jerk. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. It's just they have a system. That's the system they have. They're cookie cutter. Yeah. And when you can get them to variate a little bit, and then you go, oh, wait a minute, that don't sound right. You know what I mean? So it's very important. There you go, Denny. Denny's our boy. Denny's a member of the family. Good to see you, Denny, man. I can't wait to get back out in the woods with you, brother. He's just such a good dude. And as Wojo would say, he's a gift, and more of a gift than we all could even fathom. So,
you know what we forgot?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You two are frozen. So if I cut you off by accident, I'm sorry because both of you are frozen.
Is there a delay?
Yeah. Well, no delay. Their pictures are frozen, but
really,
their voices are fine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. Go ahead. Say.
So what me and Richie also have was the coyote mimicking. Now this is beyond anything. Okay. The first time we ever heard it, I remember I kept tapping Richie's chest to say, that's definitely not real. That's not real. That's not real. I'm like,
Gene.
Richie goes, what are they, stupid or something? It sounded like a stupid pack of coyotes. And then just a few weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, we heard them during the day. That's probably about 58, maybe like 100 yards tops.
Yeah, I'd say
and we hustled over there. And then if you had a pack of coyotes and you get right in that area, all of a sudden dead quiet, not a little whoop, whoop, whimper and go away. It was total silent. You don't hear nothing running through the woods like it's them. Remember that, Rich?
Oh, 100%. And we actually came to a conclusion for the first time in a long time, and we have been duped many times. So the theory that we have, and or hypotheses, educated guess, Ron says they aren't frozen. Well, Ron, you're not looking through his phone, so maybe they're frozen on his phone. Ronald, don't start your shit. You've been behaving tonight now. So what our theory is, now this has happened, like I said, almost a dozen times. We're way out by the Farley, which is a little over a mile off where we park. And we're hearing these, and I said to him, it's like a pack of dogs, more so than coyote even, right? You have coyote sounds mixed in, but then you hear the roar, 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 like a dog.
Yeah.
And you're like, and I'm like, is that a wild pack of dogs, man? And then one night it was at nighttime, and I said, Wojo, you packing? Like, where's your piece? Because I'm not messing with wild dogs. Coyotes, I'll beat the shit out of them. Wild dogs are a different animal.
Yeah, they are.
Completely, man. And so I was a little nervous, right? I had my bat ready to go and a couple of my kung fu fighting techniques practiced. And James fell over. So we start going walking. The weird thing is, say it's 100 yards from you. You walk 50 yards, it's still 100 yards from you. You walk 50 more yards, it's still 100 yards from you. It's not changing. You're not gaining ground. You're not getting closer. And then next minute, you know, we're out in the freaking parking lot, the parking area. And I'm like, the other dogs, the two dogs that we know of that are down the street are the ones barking. We know what they sound like. Big dog, little dog, yip, yip, and woo. And that's what they do. And I finally turned to him last time and I said, dude, you know what I think they're doing? I think that they're mimicking dog fights. I think that there's two of them probably mimicking a dog fight, and then it gets the other two dogs going. Now it sounds like there's 6 dogs. And that's what we think. We think that they're actually mimicking us to go see, oh my God, what's going on up there? Because they want us to leave. And when you experience this, again, it's on the YouTube Live. It's a little harder to hear.
Sense, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little harder to hear, but you can hear it. And then when you get out there, so what we did one night, I changed it. It was daytime, actually. We changed it up. And I just went right to the parking area and waited with the YouTube Live. And Wojo went to repack the gifting chair. Usually we all go to the gifting chair, then leave together. Well, this time I took a right. I was like, let me throw him off. Well, I'm standing there. We heard the dogs bark and all that shit was going on, and everything went dead silent. Well, now I'm standing up there. I'm talking, getting ready to say goodbye to my audience because not much is happening. So I start walking back towards Wojo, and you see me on the camera. I'm kind of walking and panning around because I like my audience to kind of see everything and not just, one tree. So I'm kind of doing this to the side. And all of a sudden, as I kind of looked over, I saw this black silhouette go between trees. And it's like it moved like it was on ice and shot out of a cannon. It was like that little kind of shoulder up, head down. And it went from one tree to another, went just like that. And it was there and gone. And I went, oh, shit, like that. And I'm like, Wojo. I started yelling for him, like, it's over to your right, because I thought he was further from me. And he wasn't. I could see him at the end of the trail. And he's like, what are you talking about? I think we threw him off with what we normally do. And they know our system so well because we're out in this area a lot. Like, we research a lot, and we're pounding this one area because we're getting results. So I think we threw him off, and I think he was up there doing the mimicking for the dogs, pissing him off. And when I went up there, it freaked him out, and he shot between 2 trees. And that's what I saw was the black silhouette. It was just quick as lightning. Oh, it's the quickest thing I ever saw. Sarah, let's see. I'm new to your channel and live in Virginia. Just curious, what area did you guys go to? Well, no one ever gives out their area, but we can west, east, central, or north. Is that fair?
Central.
This is
Central.
West Central Virginia Blue Ridge.
In that area, Sarah. Thank you. Yeah. And thank you for stopping by the channel. We have a lot of fun. We do swear once in a while, so hope we don't offend you in any way. There you go. Chette just answered you live on the air.
I know. I was like, wait a minute, Chette.
Yeah.
Somewhere in over 2 million acres of George Washington National Forest.
Yeah. So we think the mimicking is a big deal, and we think it is more than what we ever anticipated it to be. And the beautiful part is, with the recordings we have, we know the sounds that they can make. We know the variation they can go to. Let's put it that way. Oh, yeah. We know the low and the high that they can go to. And if you can go as low as they are and as high as we heard, then we know that they can do basically anything.
Yeah.
So, and you will know that. And if you guys stick around afterwards, maybe we'll let you hear a little bit of it, see what you think.
There were
The casual observer or visitor to the places we go out there, the guy in the park walking along or whatever, you hear things, but you got to have the experience out there to understand what you're hearing. And,
yes.
Yeah.
Baseline.
That's it. I mean, just sitting in your yard, having a beer, you hear a lot of things, but it's a lot different out there where we go and do what we do. I'm not saying they're not in your backyard in certain places, because they are.
But
they can be anywhere. But yeah, you got to learn how to distinguish what's a bird and what's a squirrel. I mean, a chipmunk, because of the whistles. Once you understand sounds and you can distinguish between the tones, then it starts clicking that this is not a woodpecker.
Right.
It's a lot of it comes. You gotta get out there and get the experience and learn.
Yeah, 100%. And just to the point, not just about learning the different types of animals, but knowing your baseline, right? I was a paranormal researcher for many years, right? And you go into a house and you would get the general baseline of the house, EMFs and all that stuff, electricity. So you would know when there was an oddity, right? Or an anomaly. It's the same thing with the woods. So I'll say it a lot on my YouTube live. Let's just be quiet for a minute. Let's get the baseline. We know this little bird's over here chirping. This bird's over here chirping, right? Whatever. There's a squirrel making his noise over there. And then all of a sudden we start walking. And if it goes dead quiet, my audience goes, hey, the birds and the squirrels are gone. It's dead silent. If we don't share that baseline with them, they might not catch that. Some of them are quite experienced researchers now, whether they believe it or not. Just because you're looking through my phone doesn't mean you're not researching, because you are. And that's the way we treat it. We rely on them for help. You know what I mean? Just so you guys know, Central Virginia Bigfoot Facebook page, please get over there, everybody, and follow our friend Chette over there. Let him know that we sent you. Absolutely. Follow his stuff, please. It's very important. And James Facebook is Chubby's Virginia Trout on the Fly. So check it out. If you're into fishing, you can check it out. The man's an experienced fisherman. Some pretty trout actually you've caught, my friend. And imagine that, standing by the river. Yeah, there's a lot of sounds from the river, but you never know what you might walk up on when you're out there doing some trout fishing in the middle of nowhere. So, but know your baseline, right? Know your baseline sound when you go into your research area, so you know what's there, right? I'm going to play another one real quick. It's a 12-second one. It was a little bit harder to hear, I noticed, on here, but I don't know if everybody else will hear it. So when I heard it, Wojo, do that thing you do with your mouth there. That's what I heard.
Oh, yeah.
I heard a pop. Yeah. All right. But now it has an echo like a knock, but it's weird. But I heard a physical pop. Today was different. We don't usually get stuff thrown at us. On 6 different occasions, we heard something coming through the trees. We heard that 6 times. I counted. And then I heard like what sounded like pops, not knocks like we usually hear. I don't know why they would be changing up their communication with us. They might be a little pissed off about the battery pack they found next to the gifting underneath the gifting chair buried. They could be a little pissed at me. I don't know. Remember that time in the winter, though, when they took the whole recorder and threw it on the ground next to the gifted chair? It was still in the bag recording. They were pissed. Let's see. Richie, do you have my audio boost on that one? I don't think I do. I think it's raw from his phone. So let's just see where it goes. But thank you. Here we go. No, Rich, stop hitting that stupid button. It is not what it is, stupid. I think Sparky's helping us out right now. Hang on. But I'm going to try this version of it real quick. Here we go. Oh, there it was. It's real quiet. Hang on.
Yeah.
Hear it? Right there.
Yeah, I can't quite catch it.
Yeah. Sparky just said that. Let me see. I go through my phone. Hang on. I can do this pretty quick now. I'm getting better at it. Oh, wait.
While he's doing that, what we discussed earlier about I'll tell you the sounds, how loud the woods can be, and we walk in, everything gets dead quiet. I mean, I'll tell you right now, we have planes, we got trains, we get constant winds, and I'll tell you, they throw everything at us to throw us off.
So long to save.
And being persistent, going to the same area, we're getting used to that, where you can hear the snaps underneath the sound of the planes and the trains and the wind. So it's pretty challenging, but I'll tell you, it's the mystery out in these woods. It's just phenomenal.
Yep. It's not doing it.
I've learned that there's two birds out there that I listen for that will alert me to a Bigfoot's present, and that's the blue jay and the pileated woodpecker.
Oh,
particularly the blue jay.
Well, that's a good point from today. I'm trying to save that one that he sent me and is taking.
My first one was the blue jay. I thought maybe the raven would be the other one, but yeah.
Yeah, we heard it. We heard one when I heard that move. For some reason I get these little notions, and I said, "Let's go up to the right here." And we heard that next to us, like a real quick scurry, but it was big. And then it stopped, and there was a bird behind me going off, and I forget who it was. They were live on it, but said, "Is that bird? That bird's going crazy." Like it was going crazy, like the alerting for a predator, perhaps. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up, Tubin?
Hey, Tubin.
Yeah, so the bird was going crazy. Why isn't this saving? Damn it. So what I want to ask you two, what's your favorite piece of evidence that you've collected? What besides the sightings, what is it that stands out individually in each of your minds? What you've collected? Is that a tough question?
Well,
thank you, James.
Got a lot of good pictures of tracks that are pretty definitive as to what they are. They're not human. They're not in places where people walk around barefoot or the seasons that they would be doing that. I do have a few foot casts that I got last fall from our area that are very interesting, and there's a variety of sizes of juveniles. And the dermal ridges are very profound in these footprints in the mud. The feet shape is different, and we have a one of these particular tracks that I cast. Where I found that at is it's actually about 8 or 9 miles if the Bigfoot walked through the mountains and the hollows and the creek bottoms. Okay, but if we have to drive there, it's quite further. Okay, so I took this cast in early October last year. I'm sorry, September. It was in September. Anyway, early fall, nobody around, kids back in school, everything's quiet, nobody around this area. And it looked to me like there was the step. In the picture, you can see it. The smooth edges tell me that was hair that caused that. Okay. So that one of these tracks has a couple of distinguishing marks. One is a damaged toe. Toe next to the little toe has a definite damage spot, like a chunk's gone. And then the shape of the foot itself looks like it's been injured. So back in March, on the eclipse night, if I'm not mistaken, Chette and I found the track, and Chette scanned it, and we found the same track. Like 8 or 9 miles by the mountain stream valleys walking, or about 20 miles by the road away. So that tells me that the same barefoot person with a damaged foot and calluses and heavy dermal ridging is not roaming around up here. That's something else.
Yeah, and once I got the scan done, I was looking at it, and I said, man, that matches when I got back to the house, and I was able to put the footprint scan and the cast next to each other and look at it. I said, man, that's the same foot, same length, same everything.
Interesting.
What size was the foot?
What length was that? 12 and a half, 13 inches?
That particular, actually, that's the one that's it's about the size of my foot. I wear a size 9.5 or 10, depending on the type of shoe. And so the footprint was about 11 inches, 11 and a half bare, but the width. And my step beside it in the mud, I weigh 190. So whatever stood there weighed probably over more than 2.5 times me, what I weighed. That's one of my pictures there.
Yeah, which one's this? Were you fishing and found this by the looks of it?
Yeah, this was in a remote area. Not so remote, but it was in an area where it was hard for anybody. There's nowhere for anybody to just park. It was steep banks going down to the creek, so I accessed from another area downstream. There was no sign of anybody being in there. And I also found this day, I find occasionally a handful of clam shells, freshwater clams. They're about the size of a quarter or so.
Yeah.
Popped open, laying in a little pile by a creek somewhere. Now, I've seen that many times over the years, and I attribute that to a raccoon. It's the only thing out there that has the kind of hand that can do something like that. So, anyway, that day, after I found that track, I found a pile of clamshells that would have filled up a gallon milk jug. So either a little raccoon sat there multiple times or a couple of days and ate, or something much bigger collected them and ate them. And then this track I found earlier. So, things kind of fall in place when you find more than one instance one piece of evidence. And this was a track line, okay? And the track line pictures didn't show up, but the tracks were about 5 foot apart, and one more was in the creek, and the other one was on the bank, and you could see the massed down vegetation. The footprints were 5 foot apart.
Interesting. Very interesting. No, we are not. We are in southeastern Massachusetts in what's called the Bridgewater Triangle area. These two gentlemen are from Virginia. Thank you for stopping by, Billy. Appreciate having you. Welcome to Banter, RichiebB. I'm going to play Sparky has cleaned up that pop, so I'm going to try playing that and see if we can hear it better. Ready? There it is.
Thanks, Sparky.
That's amazing. Great job, Sparky.
Good, yeah.
Wow.
The echo.
Yeah, listen. See, to me, it just doesn't have that wood sound. To me, I don't know. Am I missing something? Because when I first heard it, it was like a mouth pop.
It was like a mouth pop.
We've heard the echoes of the knocks. The knocks that we have they got a little bit more echo. It's a different echo. You know what I mean?
That could be one of them the trees where they drain the water out, and it makes that sound once in a while. A single, you got really loud. And it's actually water draining through the capillaries of the tree.
Making that sound right there?
Yes, they'll make that sound.
Yeah. Hollow trees can store water inside them, inside where the fibers rot, and then it'll saturate and you'll get drops will fall through the cavity in the tree. It's a way of debunking. It's a option, but to think about. But yeah, it does sound like that popping noise that you just made there, on live. It sounds just like it. I mean, yeah, you can definitely tell the way wood resonates the sound. Like I said, when the woodpecker hits it, and in the case when a Bigfoot or whatever, you hit it with a club, you can definitely tell the resonation of the wood. In my mind, I can hear it. The difference.
Yeah, it's to me it's tricky because again, you have to keep in mind my research area is about a 10-mile circle of the same place, basically. So I've been all through these woods constantly for 10 years now. And even before Wojo was around and before my podcast was around and things like that. And yeah, and I think that's a viable option. I'm just having a hard time hearing that.
It does.
It's good to, sorry, I didn't mean to butt in, Chette. It's good to look at all the options so that you can throw out the ones that are you can obviously throw out.
Yeah.
And,
so why
get close to a conclusion,
Right. So my question is this, because I've never heard the sound that you're speaking of. And Benno, by the way, thank you for the compliments. Greatly appreciated. Why wouldn't I hear more than one water droplet?
Yeah, exactly.
That's my question.
Sometimes it's just the way the air. All right, so you have a larger area in a space, and the water's slowly going down with the gravity.
Mm.
Air starts to go in little by little, and eventually the water drops just enough that from the top the water has to come down. You got this air bubble in that, like in your capillary.
Right.
You got a tube with an air bubble in it, and the bottom's dripping out, and all of a sudden the top wants to have the water come in. Well, it has to release that air, so then the air slides up, and when it hits the next open space, it goes pop, and then that water flows down. So the water moves from the top to the bottom of the trees constantly.
Yeah.
From the root to the top, back down again.
Yeah, and again, I still come back to my question: why would I only hear it one time?
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I've only heard them once too, and it's not in a series. The other day, I heard the one going. There's a whole stream nearby too, coming out of it.
Yeah.
Spring that this tree is connected to, but that's just the hollow. Probably the hollow part of the tree underneath is echoing it. That's probably what I heard yesterday. But the single pops because it's just one air bubble in there that's popping at a time. And so it finally just pops, and you just hear that one. And you might not hear another one for a couple of days.
Well, I haven't heard one in 10 years, so that's different. But maybe I'm not listening to it either. But the other thing is, context with all the activity that we had today, to have this appear like it did, and to get my attention live on YouTube, where I was like, whoa, what you heard me say, what the fuck was that? And so to kind of put it together, and we were near a river, so that's case in point. But I don't know exactly what type of trees. Oh, wait a minute, guys! Banter with RichiebB dinner time is here. That's right, Jim. We're about to get down to crazy with some cordon bleu. Close enough. Get out of here. Stop yelling at me.
From Virginia.
You're the best. I love you. Yes, that's right. Always bring your dinner to Banter with RichiebB so you can have a meal. I should advertise for these companies is what I should do. Oh, that's hot. Oh, that's so hot.
Justice
Some of the
catering.
comments you see popping, about when it comes to being around rivers making noises and whatever.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, I'm fishing and kind of combining it. Out there it's kind of hard to distinguish anything sometimes next to the creeks. So when we're out listening and we're hearing these sounds that you're speaking of, the pops and whatever, like Chette said, we were near some springs, and these springs are very quiet. You get a little gurgle and a bubble here and there in the right spot where they drop into down a little fall of a couple of feet.
Yep.
And you get some gurgle, but we tend to be out away from water because, getting away from sound that will distract you is important. And
that's true.
Like you had said earlier, it's hard to get away from the sound of a jet airliner anymore. I mean, we have them down there occasionally. We're hearing something, all of a sudden there's an airliner coming by.
Oh yeah, we're in a path.
So
we're in a path.
You have to, we really are too here on the East Coast. I mean, it's kind of hard to get away from it.
Can I tell you something about that?
What?
Whenever that happens, get your ears to listen low. It's just like the wind. When the wind's up high in the trees, if you listen down low, you can actually hear them moving.
Oh yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Same with trains, and same with the planes. 100%.
Yeah, it's like I said, the hunter having the mentality of a hunter. No, you're not out to harvest, but you're out to. You got to understand what you're hearing, and you got to differentiate and learn to focus where you got to be looking as well as where you're listening. Yeah.
Correct. In learning to focus is the key phrase. They are in Central Virginia, which I think Chette just left to tell you that. We are in New England. We are in southeastern Massachusetts. There's an area called the Bridgewater Triangle. You can look up the history of it. The most famous documented case of Bigfoot was in 1978 by a gentleman named Joe DeAndre, who took all the beatings for us so we could talk about this stuff today. So thank you, Mr. Joe, wherever you are. To me, he's a legend and very important in this research field. There's always that guy that has to step up and stick to his guns and take the ridicule, take the beatings, take the laughter, take the bullshit, especially in the 70s when it was even more so. They didn't have social media, but damn, they can still rip you up pretty good. But he was actually on the news channel and he stuck to his guns, and his story has never changed. He lives about 15 minutes from me. So look up the Bridgewater Triangle, do your research on that. and you'll see there was all kinds of stuff, and a lot of stuff that has to do with King Philip's War and cults and orbs and UFOs and Thunderbirds, and it's quite an interesting place to get to live in. And
Yeah.
for me to have an experience with Bigfoot in my backyard is probably no surprise to anybody that knows anything about the Bridgewater Triangle. So I'm
A lot
very
of
blessed.
Interesting place, yeah.
Blessed to be chosen by Bigfoot in my backyard. So that was pretty cool. So here I am today, and we're having a lot of fun discussing with Chette Nichols, and we don't want to pronounce the E.
Damn.
Wrong.
Damn one. Yeah.
There's
It's
no,
all right, either way.
there's no damn E in there, all right? So shut up.
Yeah. My great
I
grandfather
have a
took the E
question.
out. Took the E out.
Oh,
Some parts of our family kept it in. So, the same pronunciation works for all of us,
okay.
Yeah.
That's like me, Richie Bro. What's that, Chet? What were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just, we have similar experience here that you guys, it seems like you're having there. Are you experiencing any disruptions in the circadic rhythm in your area, the circadic rhythm?
Speak in right around 100 IQ terms.
Okay, so
Thanks.
do you hear? Are you hearing the daytime and nighttime insects and birds routinely that you normally hear throughout your life during the day and during the night? We've had days and nights where there's nothing. We were up in there
Dead silent.
Overnight, just our last overnight that me and James did. We did not only did we not hear the bird that was chirping at us all night during the eclipse and the ravens and the owls. There were no birds, there was no insects, there was no sounds, there was not even the sound of the jets or the aircraft flying over us. And we were like, what? And then we started noticing, just the last few weeks have we started noticing that I have some of my wife calls them ganyis. They're the little locust flies that come out of the ground and off the trees and make some noise when it gets warm. We're just now hearing one or two of them today.
Yeah, just a couple. It's really quiet at night.
Right.
I mean, we've only had a few hot summer nights recently where it sounded like a hot summer night with the bugs and the tree frogs.
Yep.
It has just been dead quiet.
Quiet, just quiet.
Yeah,
Well,
all the time.
Richie, we got the bullfrogs, and actually, remember just recently we had the cicadas. You go, what is that? I said, that's cicadas. I mean, it was a lot. It sounded like a lot of them, but I just found that odd. I don't know, because we never hear them. And that was the first time I ever heard them, recently.
Yeah, the silence is a scary thing for me. Silence, for me, I've always been a sensitive my whole life. So for me, when it goes silent, my other, the other things kind of peak, right? So it goes dead silent, and then my body gets in tune with the earth, and all of a sudden I'm just like this, that. I can feel them. I can feel them where they are. I can feel them in my chest. My mind's eye starts going crazy, right? And I'm locked in. I'm locked into where I can almost sit there and talk to them in my head, for Christ's sakes, because there's nothing else to cloud it or fog it, right? And it's the same type of theory they talk about as a child. You get to see ghosts and stuff because you're not fogged by life. You're not 30 years old and have all these experiences taking up all your brain memory, right? And all that stuff and blocking things out because you're fresh. And I had my first experience with a ghost when I was 7 or 8 years old. And it took a long time to get it back. I had to work for it and go through mediumship classes and learn to meditate and all this stuff. Well, I didn't have to do that when I was 7 or 8 years old when there's a lady standing in my bedroom. You know what I mean? So it's the same type of effect. That's why I'm saying that. It's the same type of effect. When everything kind of goes quiet like that, you just kind of perk up, and you really get in tune with what's going on. Do you guys...
Spider senses kick in, not the bad man.
Yeah, good way to put it, right? Yeah, empath banter. Yeah, that's right. Do you... Now, when you guys feel that they're close to you, do you communicate verbally with them? What do you do? You just kind of...
talk to them.
You talk to them? Yeah. Like, what are some things you might say? Like, yo, pass me a Budweiser.
Hey, I said, I know you over there. Hey there.
That's awesome.
I mean, a lot of times out there, first thing I do, we go in the woods and I say, we're back, I mean, I do that, and when I'm out there, when I hear someone get a rock thrown, I say, "I know you over there." And yeah, I mean,
Very
why
similar.
not? You know,
Yeah, no, very similar. We
don't
did
be
it.
threatening. That's the thing. You can't be
No,
threatening to them. I
no,
mean,
and
if
we
you
did it
are,
today.
yeah, they're either gonna back off, or who knows what they may do. So I
Yeah.
mean, just act normal.
Yeah, and
They're
I've
curious.
been. What's that, Chet?
They're really curious to see what we're doing. You know,
Yeah,
here they've been out there for years, and nobody's even in the area. And then all of a sudden, a couple guys show up, and they're looking at the rocks, and they're looking at the plants, and they're measuring trees, and they're taking the temperatures of the water and the alkalinity, and they're picking up little pieces of stones here and there, and they're taking pictures of that, and they're like, what are these guys don't seem to like, you know, they're looking for something, but they're not looking for us, and they're kind of like curious watching us.
Yeah.
And the thing is you're trying to move around. It's very hard to take your camera and just flip it up to where you think you can see where they're at, and you know they're right up there in through that brush 100 feet from you, sometimes as close as 30 or 40 feet from you through the brush. Know they're there. And like yesterday when my camera was dead, but James was over one area, and I got to a spot where they couldn't see me, but I saw its head just pop up, little black head, just pop over the edge of the bushes, look down where James is at, and then drop back down. And I just said, he's right there. And I was pointing to James. He's right there. He's right there.
Yep. We've done this.
he does that sometimes. He's pointing at the one over here looking at me. And at the same time, I'm looking at him to tell him to look behind him. There's always, it's my experience is when you're out there, there's always two.
Always. I don't think they're ever alone.
No, it's always at least two.
I agree with that 100%. And one thing that we've learned, all right, so my experience, what I've always done was I would come outside in my backyard to do work or whatever the case might be, or get ready for work in the morning because I own a power washing company and I get my equipment together or whatever. And after I started having my experiences, I would just talk to the woods to the point the neighbors would pull their shades, whack jobs out back again, hide everything basically. And I'm like, hey, good morning, guys, and I'd be sitting there for 5 minutes working and I hear a tree knock. And I'm like, oh, there they are. They're here. And then I started getting into what they were doing. So I had this special little stick and this special leaning up against this tree. So I would go out there in the morning and I would hit the tree and I'd do a big tree knock and I'd wave to the woods. Good morning, guys. And I go about my business. Boom. 10 minutes later, bang, I get one back. And I only did it because they were doing it to say, hey, idiots out here again. You know what I mean? And
that's
that's
what you do. I mean,
yeah.
Doesn't everybody realize what's happening to them? That's the thing. Most people, their focus is somewhere else. They have other interests. And when you're interested, you understand what's happening to you.
Right.
And, it's just not random anymore. You know that that's not, like you said, the woodpecker or this or that. And what you said, when you said about you knocking on the tree and then 10 minutes later, that's pretty key as well, I think. You ever notice on YouTube, all the videos, everybody's out beating on the trees in the dark, hooping and hollering?
Yeah.
They never see, find, hear anything, maybe a rat occasionally, or a deer running away. So, it's a lot to be taken from how people do things. And, you guys sound like a lot like us,
That's my point, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing is, I mean, I like what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Sounds like what we do. It's a way to go about it right.
Well, and even that part of the research has evolved to where we have Elder Medicine Bear Claw. Make sure you get over to her YouTube channel, by the way. She has amazing medicine bags and stuff like that. She sent us tobacco and stuff that we can give back to the earth and give blessings to the Satanya, Sasquatch, Bigfoot. So different names we can call them, different words we can use when we communicate with them. Aho, Tansi, Oki, things like that we can use. And so it's evolved in that sense because I've always been a historian. And one of the biggest historical factors about Bigfoot is how they ran side to side with the Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I will go to her and I'll ask, do you know if the Native Americans use sticks and stuff like that to point towards a watering hole or a game trail or something like that, or maybe a place to bunk down for the night because they're on a 10-day hunt for food for the tribe, and she would confirm that, and then so I'm not speaking out of line and just making shit up. You know what I mean? That's the other thing that we do. We have experts. We have an expert. We have a linguist that we use through the Vogel brothers. We have a tree expert that Wojo knows from the University of Georgia that we send pictures to from manipulated trees, and he can't explain any of them. Things like that. We don't just take our ego and tell you, this is what it is, damn it. It's not, believe us, it's not like that. We go to experts, we ask for advice, and then we can come back and share it when we're 100% sure. Like even the recordings that we have now that we want to share, we don't know if we want to send it to the linguist first and then bring it back to everybody. So you can just say, hey, listen, it's already been verified by the linguist. We're in the woods and you hear us go, huh, blah, blah, because that was a sound that we recorded. We sent it off to the Vogels. The Vogels took it to their linguist friend. He came back and said, yes, it's 98% certainty that we're dealing with a vocalization mixed in with a communication. So there's a conversation going on between two of them. One knows what ha-ha means, and the other one knows what blup blup means. So when we're out there, that's what we'll do to communicate back to them, and at the end of it, we always say goodbye. When I had my first experience with the 4-letter word people that I don't like to say, 4-letter words are bad. But anyways, they were there, and the gentleman looked at me and says, I think they're here because of you, because you respect them, because he saw me when we left after hearing them talk to each other, turn around and wave and thank them. And when we went in, I told them that I had strangers to them with me, but they were friends of mine. Please don't be offended or upset with me. I just wanted them to come out in the woods with me, and I just let them know that. And then when I left, I thanked them and waved. And if you're out there researching, man, think of it like this. Don't come in my house, first of all, without knocking. But if you do, you better say hello. All right? Knocking, no pun intended. But you know what I mean? You better say hello, and don't just leave without saying goodbye. Yeah. What's the difference? I, again, do you guys feel it's a primitive human you're dealing with or a primate, like an ape?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking it's leaning more toward primate, but once again, I'm not sure about that. But they are very intelligent. We know that.
I'm myself on the fence on it. James sent me some information the other day, and so I started looking into the hidden tribe of the Saponi. They were known. The Saponi tribe here in Central Virginia were known to be great hiders. They could easily disappear and hide in the woods around anyone at any time. They were just masters at it, which sounds mighty close to the description of Bigfoot.
Right.
And so wondering if maybe they're part of the Saponi tribe and they're just so good at hiding that they could probably just walk out, put on a pair of jeans and go down to the Dollar General and buy something and head back up into the woods.
Nobody even know who they were.
Exactly.
There was a legend too, in doing a little research about the Saponi tribe here, that basically sort of disappeared. Legend is something about them. They went underground.
Underground, yeah.
Interesting.
So the Bigfoot, I'm pretty sure here in Virginia and where we're at, we have a lot of rock outcroppings, and that's where they live, somewhere in a cave in these mountains.
Mm-hmm.
They have to in these elevations to get out of the elements in the winter. It's not Massachusetts or Vermont, but these 3,000 plus elevations down here are pretty harsh in the winter.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's interesting when you start reading and researching about the different things, the Native Americans, the Bigfoot, and everything. I mean, it goes back a long time, and what we found too is it's the association about Bigfoot is when you go out there, if you find signs, typically there's also evidence and signs of ancient habitation by the Native Americans going way back as well in the same places. So the same areas that draw animals, that draw the Bigfoot, that draw the Native Americans for what they did, how they lived, they all were drawn to the same little spots in these mountains. There's lot of connections there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and trying to find out, you know, those, you know, all the variables and figuring and putting it together is, I guess, is what we're all about, you know.
No, 100%. I think you guys research a lot like us, by the way, because we've been into the giants of Lovelock Cave and the Paiutes. And one of the theories that we talked about a long time ago was they talked about how they killed the giants, but they kept the women and mated with them.
Right.
And the Paiutes were like kind of like a flatter face type, you know what I mean? And then of course you mix the giants in, and I'm like looking at Wojo going, why couldn't that be a Bigfoot? You know what I mean? Like, why couldn't that happen? They were like 12 feet tall, reported. There's bones that were found like were 12 feet tall, and now you get between 8 and 10. So that could make sense as well, right? So you look at all these things, but the bottom line is, for me, I've come down to a primitive human on a higher frequency.
Mhm.
So much like a psychic, where they have these extra abilities that the common folk don't have, why couldn't something else be on a higher frequency than even a psychic or a medium and have different abilities, perhaps like the self-illuminating eyes that you see behind me, you know, perhaps like these different types of things. Infrasound's very simple. A giraffe has that. I mean, come on, hippos have it. Infrasound is something we believe we've recorded infrasound. That vroom through the vroom goes through the forest and hits us, and we've all been hit at the same time with it. There was like,
be a form of infrasound.
what is it?
Humming is a form of infrasound.
Correct. Yeah, right. Exactly. And that's what we hear coming through the whole forest, though. We heard it. All 6 of us standing in a circle. We're like, whoa, did you just hear that? And I'm like, yeah, I got hit with it, for Christ's sakes. It felt like a wall coming at me. And it was just like, vroom, like right through your body. And you heard it. And we recorded it. And one recording that came through is the sound I just made. And the other one, right, Wojo, was like a high-pitched digital. Remember that high electronic frequency that we recorded? It was like it was wild, right?
Don't you? I think you have that, don't you?
I just might have it. So what if I do, sir?
Then play it.
I'd have to find it. Yeah. But answer. Wait. Wojo, you answer Sarah's question. Have you guys ever smelled anything like sulfur or that nasty smell when they are around?
Yes.
I've been trying to get to that question.
Yeah, I smelled Richie.
Here's how long we've been in the woods.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Chette. Woo.
No, Sarah. Seriously. Yeah. It's funny. You know, me and Richie reacted at the same time. Looked at each other like, "You smell that?" Like, yeah. I mean, one of them must have had skunk cabbage or something, because it was
skunky today.
Fun out the woods, especially when we went back to the gifting chair.
Yeah.
And it's like you take 2 steps forward, it smells strong, but then when you walk past that step that you did, all of a sudden it's gone.
Gone, yeah. Goes and comes back, yeah.
It's
and
a
usually
very
we smell
odor that I've smelled in our spot before, in other places too. And when it strikes you, you know that it's unusual and it's not something that's normal.
Right. And it's the way it comes and goes in kind of waves. Right. And we've had this wicked piss smell. Mm-hmm. And the story, thank you for that meal. The story I always tell is when the piss smell hit, I was lifting up this fern and I was looking at a print, because we deal with compost. So when you see mud, you go look at it. So I lifted up this fern and there was a print there. And I said, Wojo, I'm calling him over. And then I went, oh, I was doing this. I'm doing this to him because we just went out after work all pissed off. We didn't have our radios and nothing. We were looking at each other like sign language, like
yeah,
idiots. You know what I mean? And I'm calling him over, and it smelled so bad. It hit me so hard. It was like just this, like you opened up an old bottle of piss you pissed in from last year. It was so bad. And here's this print. And then lo and behold, and then it went away. I went, oh my God, it's gone. And then I went, oh shit. And it must have been 10 seconds after I said, oh, shit, realizing that it was in the area because the smell was moving. It was running through the woods, top speed, crashing like 60 feet from us. And it was dusk, and we're seeing like all this trees and stuff moving and hearing it. And you can't see anything else beyond that. So you're like, what the hell? And then all of a sudden, I say what the every time. But then all of a sudden, it just went dead silent and stopped.
That's what scared me.
It hunkered down, and I see Wojo's face, and I go, you know what the problem is now? And he goes, what? And he was still fairly new. I go, they're going to come for him. And he goes, What do you mean by that? And then 5 seconds later, we have a recording of this whistle a mile long coming from the opposite end of the forest. And I went, there they are. Here they come, bro. So yes, they started flanking us and distracting us. So we're doing this. So this guy's moving. We're going over here. So this guy moves a little more. And I know you guys mentioned, I'm jumping around a little bit, but Sarah, thank you for your question. The smell one is always awesome for me. We're a little bit over the time, but I don't really have a watch. So if you need to go anywhere, just go. But real quick, I want to end it on the subject of flanking. I was flanked by myself in my backyard a number of times. I count the 3 that I specifically remember because it's the most crisp and clear, and no doubt I was flanked. The first one was when 2 of them, they're always at this triangle. Either you're the point of the triangle and they're at the shoulders like this. And this one particular time, I was hoping I was the point, but there was something behind me and I was not the point. And I was absolutely horrified. And I remember shaking. I was literally shaking. I just got the SD card out of my game trail camera because, again, I was a novice. Didn't realize those things are shit. And then because they can see them like a beacon at night. But anyways, and I remember putting my hands up like this. And I said, okay, I'm going to leave now. I'm going to go. But this guy behind me's got to move because I'm going to back up so you could see me. And I swear to God, within 20 seconds, I could hear him moving. Mm-hmm. And I started thank you. And I started stepping back like this. Thank God I know my property and I didn't walk into look stupid like I was going to fall down and be aggressive. But those were the 2 by myself that were absolutely horrifying. I thought I was dead in the woods and you were never going to find my body because it was I was a novice, so I didn't have that connection with them yet. You know what I mean in that sense, or understand that connection that you can be safe. Now I'm not afraid of them at all. Well, me and Wojo have been flanked many times now. I mean, now it's a lot of times. What have you guys been flanked together or separately? I don't care which. It doesn't have to be about both of you. But do you guys have any?
Many times, yeah.
Yeah, they're always want to get one on the flank. They always want to flank you. That's part of their thing. The 2 of them. So one will flank you and one will be up. So like James will sometimes want to do some fishing. So what he'll do is he'll get down the creek and I'll go up along the side and I'll hide up in the trees there and see what's trying to flank me as well as what's trying to flank him. And I'll hear something up behind me and not see anything over by him. And then next thing you know, he said, hey, did you hear that one over by me? No, I didn't, you know. But
so let me wait. I'm sorry. Let me get this dynamic correct. You go in the woods to look for Bigfoot, and our boy James brings his fly rod.
Yep.
I fucking love him. This is brilliant because you're just minding your business and you have a Bigfoot lookout.
Exactly.
Well, they love to watch. They've been watching me for years, and like I said, once I realized it, it's like it just makes it more interesting to go.
That's what we incorporated in our research.
I love it.
Their curiosity to watch us.
Yeah,
and
I love
trout
it.
bum with a Bigfoot problem is what I say.
Yeah, you're right on with that. So, what characteristics do you pick up on when they're flanking? Tell me, explain, because I'm not going to tell you details of mine because I want to hear details of yours first and then see if they link up. So what type of characteristics or tactics do they use when you're being flanked? What do you hear? What do you see? Stuff like that. Go ahead.
My first experience of what put me onto this spot, I was fishing all around the area for years. Okay. One day I decided after thinking about it, I'm going to get on my e-bike and ride this logging road that I didn't know whether you could drive it or not in a vehicle. I went about a mile, topped out on the ridge on the bike, and I started feeling weird right away. I mean, I was going fishing. Bigfoot was the last thing on my mind. I was hoping I was going to cross a little creek on this road, and I was going to be able to fish a little bit in a remote area. Just say I did it. Out of the way, and I'm easing along on the bike, 4 or 5 miles an hour. It's nice and quiet, and all of a sudden you hear something in the woods. And after a while, I realized I've got one on either side of me, flanking me, back kind of at a 45 degree. Imagine standing there with your arms stuck back like a swept ring F-14 fighter jet. They were back at kind of that angle behind me, and they were running through the woods along a trail, I guess, on the other side of that road, following me. And they followed me for about 3 miles.
So you could hear the actual like bipedal steps and crashing through the woods, or
I
was
could
it?
hear them moving along, and I would stop the bike, and they would stop, and sometimes they would not stop in time.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this kept on for 3 miles until one of them decided to throw a big rock at me and say, that's far enough. And then I told them, okay, I get the picture, and I turned around and left. And that began our quest and got me a few months later in touch with Chette. That was the flanking one that set aside everything. I've heard them before behind me many times. I still do anytime out there. Little subtle steps. You stop, they stop.
Yes.
I walk fast sometimes and then stop real quick and catch them. They'll take 3 or 4 more steps and then they stop.
Yep.
So I do that a lot just to experiment, and it works. You just got to listen. I got a lot of audio to go through, and I just haven't been good at it recently. I've been a little under the weather, and hopefully I'll catch up and I might have something good. But it's amazing. If you walk and they're there, listen, they're back there. I mean, they're not out in front wave at you. I don't say they don't pop up in front, because they have, but
Right.
they're always back in on that angle, one side or the other. One may be closer than the other, but they're there, and it's typically always 2. I mean, it makes sense to me, and from the sounds I hear, I mean, it's no mistaking there's 2. You know?
Yeah, no, you're right on, man. Chette, have you had the same experiences like that? Have you been flanked on foot?
Now,
Like,
I would say that the flanking is not, directly behind me, but off to the one side.
mm-hmm.
And what I noticed mostly was that whenever we split up, me and James, and we get a good distance apart from each other, they have to split up too.
Yeah, good
Now
point.
they can't flank one or the other,
Right.
and get us in that one on one side and one behind. Now they separate, but they're still always somewhat behind us and off to the back. So like I'll hear them communicating. James will be on one side, I'll be on the other, and there'll be one up above behind him and one up behind me. And you'll hear them grunt and pop and do all sorts of weird sounds and communicate with each other behind us. And you know who it is. You know what it is.
Yeah. So do you guys use radios at all to communicate, or you just go separate away from each other and not talk?
Yeah, we just stop.
Keep quiet.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
No radios.
Yeah, so we got radios with earpieces, so you can't hear the beeping and shit, and you can whisper. You just hit the button. Well, I haven't been working lately, but you hit the button, and you can be like, "Oh, I hear something over here." You know what I mean? Because we don't want to get too far apart. Well, that's an interesting theory.
That's
I'm glad
the key. We don't get far apart. That's
not
the
too
key
far
out there
apart,
together.
right?
Stay close enough together that
No more.
Yeah, you're out of sight, but don't ever get too
Never
far
get
apart.
further than 500 feet away from your partner.
That's probably a good
No.
idea. Yeah, exactly.
200 feet is probably the maximum. 100 feet, 200 feet is about what we are apart from each other.
Yeah,
If-
I feel comfortable with that.
We're used to how we work too.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of does his thing, and next thing you know, we don't circle each other and kind of we didn't have to plan.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah,
You know, we got used to kind of working
Love it.
together without having to talk too much about it and plan. And we kind of got our little process going, I think, and it's working. I mean, you gotta ignore them
Yep.
somewhat, but you gotta remember they're intelligent. And I think the curiosity factor and the confusion factor is what we gotta concentrate on. Those 2 things there will get our evidence.
Well, I listen. I agree, man. Wojo likes to wander off, so you got to watch Wojo. That's why I got the radio strictly because Wojo likes to wander off, right, Wojo?
We both do that. Yeah.
Now, Richie's on live. He doesn't realize that he's just walking on his own. I'm trying to do my thing. So we both do it to each other.
Yeah. But either way, we got to have the radio. So that's one thing I want to lead into here. Don't do this alone. You know what I mean? Don't do this alone. This is something that you should have somebody with you, not just for mainly for safety and all that, but as a researcher, you could use it to validate with the other guy. So me and Wojo will look at each other like, "What did you hear?" We don't tell him. I don't tell him what I heard. I don't tell him what I see. I ask him what he sees or what he hears, and then I can validate. And then it's vice versa. If he saw or heard something and he says it first, then I can validate him. It's like another source of evidence when you get validation like that. So. And to drift far apart, not only is it safety thing, but like I just said, it's a research thing. So
Right.
if Chet's too far away and he has something going on, and then he comes back and tells, I'm just using an example, guys, I'm not poking, to James what he found or heard, James gonna be like, well, I didn't hear that. So now you just have one person that you're relying on to be the source, as opposed to two.
Right.
So it's very important that you think like that, unfortunately, because the world sucks in general, but
Yeah.
and there's a bunch of troll assholes out there, and which we don't care about. I have amazing moderators on my live that just kick them in their ass and they're gone, and I like to insult them all the way out the door. I have a problem with that. I guess my executive
Oh,
producer
I like to do a few every once in a while. They
I
just
got,
got to,
got one question. One more.
You got a question? What's this, the Chette Nichols hour? Well, that's right, Jim. We're here with Chette Nichols. Banter with Chette Nichols. Go ahead, Chette.
It's Banter with Richie and Chette today. Yeah, that's it. The baby cry. We heard it. We heard it yesterday. We hear the baby cry at least once every month when we go out.
Really?
We go out 3 or 4 times a month. We'll hear that baby cry at least once during that time. And we heard it yesterday. And that's the one that's got me. It's the one that one day I was by myself and down in a holler, and James was up on the road at the top. We were, we're talking 800 feet maximum. And up behind me to my left was the baby cry, and he was off to my right, up high up on the road. And he was just as high up as where I heard the baby cry. But it's amazing to hear that, because I've heard the deer do all sorts of stuff. I've heard the birds do all sorts of stuff, and I'm telling you, whatever's doing that baby cry is not a bird.
No.
And it really, I thought maybe it was a kitten, because the cats will make that kind of meow to trigger that sense in you about babies,
Right.
Sounds like a cry. So I'm thinking these people have learned about babies and humans by watching, probably in the camps down in the lower altitudes, where the campgrounds where they have babies, watch babies cry and the parents attending to them as they cry. But I wonder if their babies cry, and if once in a while if we're actually hearing one of their babies actually crying.
It's funny because a lot of researchers talk about the baby cry. We have had experience in our research area with the baby crying. We were leaving. I think Wojo was ahead of us, and he didn't get to experience it. But me, his brother, and researcher Lisa Garcia all stopped in our tracks.
Yeah, you all heard that.
And we all turned around and said, is that, at the same time, is that a baby? It was mind-blowing. And another one that has an experience with this. Are you familiar with Alex Petikoff from Small Town Monsters? All right. Alex Petikoff was the guy I used to go to as far as like watching his stuff, because he was boots on the ground. I know he edited, but I got to watch everything through his camera. So that's where I kind of got the idea to do what I do, but I wanted to do it live so nobody would call me a liar. But I used to watch all his stuff. Big fan of his. And I had the pleasure of meeting him and having him on my show. And we did the Bigfoot scouting for Bigfoot in New Hampshire last year, and he was there with us, and we just had a ball. And he's a pretty cool down to earth dude. But he talks about Alaska out there. One of his friends own a cabin, and they go out there. They started having experiences, so it didn't turn into a hunting cabin. Now it's like a Bigfoot research cabin, and there's the baby cry, but the baby only cries when there's a woman at the cabin, they say. Yeah, so every time that they've recorded it or whatever, it's when there's a woman at the cabin, but the baby cry is a thing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely mind-blowing. And when we heard it, someone just said in here, it's creepy. Oh, here it is, Benno. Yeah, creepy as shit, Benno. You got to take that in, right? It's pretty nuts. Wojo, what do you think of these two dudes tonight?
I think it's all. You guys are great.
Yeah.
I do have one quick question. I know you guys are in the hills of Virginia. It's a different landscape and all, and we're much more flatter and much more. We have more forestry and what have you. We get a lot of tree structures and what have you. I mean, do you guys find like any tree structures like letter X's or asterisks and things like
they're
that?
everywhere. And one thing our terrain, I mean, where we're at, we're in the Blue Ridge, and the elevations are up to just over 4,000 feet here. So, and you can go a mile east and you can be at 1,000. So it is flatter. And a lot of this that we're finding is up in the 2,500 to 4,000 foot elevation ranges. Yeah, I find a lot of stuff much lower too, but yes, we find a lot of our old logging roads out here and trails that we find that are obviously not deer trails. They're broad and deep, have sticks jammed in the ground and broken trees and limbs pointed on them. I mean, just like the rock stacks and lines.
Right.
It's out there everywhere. And it's some people get the misconception that Virginia is flat and you're out in the Piedmont where it is flat, out in the coastal plain. But the western third of Virginia is very mountainous. And like I said, this is, I've had people make comments, well, we all know Virginia's been logged over 2 or 3 times. And I said, well, the tops of our mountains have never been touched. It's too rugged, the trees are crooked, and they were never touched. And there's pictures that prove that they were never touched. They were logged up to a point they were bare, and the top still had the original flora and fauna on top because they didn't bother them in a lot of places. Further south in the Smokies, some of the areas down there were more decimated by logging and whatever. But up here, like I said, you got to understand the terrain, the places that you're at, and just because we're further south, and Virginia's thought of like Virginia Beach and that kind of thing. This is nothing like Eastern Virginia where we're at. I mean, this is a different world here.
Yeah, it is. Great.
Yeah, you see this structure here that I find. I'm so excited because I've only found 3 of them in 10 years. Do you know what the specialty on this is? Chette might be cheating because he's watched the show a little bit, but
I can't even see it myself.
Well, they use those to block trails.
Yeah, but what's specifically different about this particular X? Do you know?
Well, I can't see it as well on this little screen. I'm sticking my glasses on, but
all right,
I see moss hanging off of it that probably didn't grow there because the trees are off of the ground. The moss doesn't grow up there like that in the open. It grows on the ground and on the shady side of the trees. That's one thing I see.
The key is,
you
ready? I'll tell you the key.
Yeah.
This is what I call an interlocking X.
Okay.
The left side is in front of the tree. The back side is the right side is behind the tree, and then vice versa. Same with the other top piece of the X. It's like when you
it's like when you're that way.
No. It's like when you're moving and you lock that cardboard box up, and it has that weird little setup you got to do, right?
Yeah.
It's the same. It's an interlocking X. I've found 2 now in this research area. One, the one over near my property, but this is the 3rd one that I have found in the 10 years I've been there.
I got to put my boy to bed, so you guys take care.
Yep, we're going to be wrapping up right now, actually, Chette. We'll say goodbye to everybody. Are you away on vacation?
What's that?
Are you away on vacation?
No, I'm at home.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody get over to Central Virginia Bigfoot Research Facebook page and make sure you follow them and check out Chubby's. How do you say that again real quick? Because he's got to go.
I also have a James Chubby Dameron YouTube. There's some interesting videos, rock throws. Check that out as well. Anyway, Chet's a great guy. We've got a good thing going out here, and
good.
Like
keep it up.
We're going to come up with some good stuff here before long. That's really going to show people what we're about.
Yeah, well, I think we need to communicate and keep talking and sharing. We get on with other researchers around the country that are just like us, and we like to share and not be gatekeepers and communicate. And hey, do you have this in your area too? Yep, we do. Okay, and then we could talk. Hey, look out for this. I experienced this last week. I never experienced it before. Have you ever experienced that? So that's what we do. So I want everybody to check out these guys' pages. What was that other page you just said you had? James?
On Facebook, YouTube is at James Chubby Dameron. It's my YouTube channel.
Okay,
And
cool.
I've got a page called Virginia's Blue Lines, Book Trout and Bigfoot in the Blue Ridge. I can't talk tonight.
That's all right.
You should be able to find my affiliations with my pages there.
Yeah.
Anyway, be on the lookout for some more good stuff from Chette and I. And anyway, we're trying to figure out a day next week. We try to get out at least once a week together if we can.
That's
So,
awesome.
Thanks a lot for having us on, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah. We're gonna sign off right now. You want to stay with us while I sign off?
I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna grab me a cup of coffee and a little bite to eat. And
Sorry,
I really
Rich.
appreciate the opportunity tonight and talking with you guys. And hopefully we can do this face to face sometime too.
No, I'd love to get with you guys and hang, my man. Thank you for joining the show. And everybody, this is James and Chette, and they got shit to do. So we're going to say goodnight to James, and then we're going to sign off from the show. Thanks for coming on, brother. Have a good night.
All right. Good night, guys. Thanks
good night,
a lot.
buddy. All right. Well,
Joe Fox, it's great to see you on here.
Joe Fox. I recognize that name, man.
Great. He's a dear friend of Sean's, Sean Kelly, and
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah, super dude.
I'm aware, man. Wojo, you want to sign off, or do you have to go somewhere?
No, I don't have to go anywhere.
Oh, okay. You're going to stay while I sign off?
I'm going to go get a cup of coffee and a sandwich.
You got to love them boys that are chill. You know what I mean? They're just chill, man. Great talking to you, man. I'm going to get coffee and a sandwich. Bye.
Get away and all right, we'll sign up and then disappear.
Awesome. No, they're awesome dudes. We're so glad to have them here. And Chette and I continue to communicate. And like he said, hopefully get to face sometimes, man. We got to get traveling and go doing this shit. So that's what we're talking about when we want to talk about raising money for the show. So that's going to start to happen. You will start seeing that. Please, if you have the means, help us out with our research. And we'll tell you how coming up very soon. I'm just kind of setting it up. In the meantime, man, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, all Banter with Richie B. This has been an amazing day of Bigfoot. You guys on the side were absolutely unbelievable. Joe Fox, thank you for being here. Sarah, your questions, you can always keep bringing your questions. Never enough questions. I love when you're talking. Benno, you are active, my man. I love seeing that on the side. D-Hoot and Sparky and Sam and Ron and Mary, happy birthday. And it was just an amazing night. Thank you guys so much for the therapy that I so much need is right here in this chair. Right, Wojo?
Yeah, this is a beautiful community. This is what
Love
we're
it.
all about. When we climb, you climb with us, believe me.
100%. We believe that wholeheartedly, man. That is not a joke. That is not just a saying. It's not just a cliche. We climb, you climb. This is our show, your show, my show, all of it together. So I want to say I love you, baby Jack. I love you, mama. Thank you so much to both of you for giving me the inspiration and passion and the therapy because I need it, because I miss you guys.
Yeah.
So I love everybody. Thank you for being here. Wojo, get us the hell out of here because we got shit to do. I got to get a coffee and a sandwich and, just abruptly leave.
Hey, thank you all for being on here. Remember, buy this cool merch. And yes, we are home of the boom. Let's go. See you all next week. Benno, Verax, all you new people.
Verax.
Oh.
EKB was in the house. Elder was here. Woo! Wind was here. This place was freaking lit tonight. Let's go.
Let's go, Sarah.
Like, subscribe, and hit the notify button on YouTube because we're going to be going live a lot, and we want you to come into the woods with us. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. And thank you for watching Banter with Richie B.